everybody on Twitch and YouTube. Hey, guys!
Hey, Twitch people.
Hi, Twitch.
Now we're just waiting for the radio stations to catch up. We'll get rolling on this.
So since we said hello, but since I can't show man nipple, can I do like the finger gesture with my tongue? You know,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole licking the bean?
That's
okay.
perfectly
Just
fine.
making, I don't want to just assume, well, I can't do that, but I could do this. They'd be like, oh, we're done. We got like 5 seconds in, and you're done.
Put some pasties on.
So we can't show man nipples, but can we show us trimming our pubes?
As long as you don't show the genitals, yes.
Now, when you say the genitals, do you mean the whole package? Like if you see the balls but not the shaft, is that okay? Or if you see the shaft and not the balls, or
hey, you know who Ronnie reminds me of? Juan Guzman.
Wasn't he a comedian in the 80s?
No, he a comedian, yeah, but he's also done a couple recent actors too.
Is he a Nicaraguan dictator?
Movies. I don't know about Nicaraguan, but he's somewhere in Latin America.
Okay, hold on.
He's Puerto Rican, I think.
Okay, we're live on Radio Real and White Party Radio. Shut up. Anyhow, welcome to Monday, August 28th episode of Talk of the Tavern, Cigars and Boobs.
Yeah!
That's right.
Yeah.
We are broadcasting live from the beautiful Retro Daddy-O in Williamsburg, Virginia, where you get all your old and new nerdy needs. And now I get to introduce all the boobs on the show tonight. Let's start with the Queen of Boobs, Night Owl Hooters, Andrea.
Yeah, baby.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, okay. Check. I am drinking Paul Mason brandy tonight. Not smoking any cigars.
Any pipes?
Because we're in the store, but...
Or douche flutes?
No. No douche flutes tonight, no. So, just the brandy.
Okay, and then we'll go with our Maduro-wrapped Ed.
What up, people? I am drinking Miomi Pinot Noir.
Naomi's penis what?
Yeah, it is.
Whatever you said.
Like a hide and seek game?
And then one of our classics has come back, the Paisley Puffer himself, Ronnie Mexico.
Hello. I am drinking some delicious Maker's Mark. Along with, I'm smoking a brand new cigar that I tried for the first time. It's called Matilde. And this is I'm doing the Maduro of it, and it is delicious.
Hold up the band to the camera. Let's take a look. See what we got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I've ran across this. Okay.
Brand new. It came in Saturday.
And then join us for the second time, the king of the fat boys. I guess they shouldn't hear me say that about you, right? A no-hair bear himself, Marco Ojeda.
Porno.
Thank you. Hey, love the porno. Smoking a Viaje 10-ton Tess collectors.
Show off.
I don't know if you see it. And drinking a Grolsch swing top.
You know,
nice.
I don't like those. Those are way bitter. I love the bottles, but just find it bitter.
It is bitter, but with the really stout cigar, you got to have a really stout beer.
That's true.
My opinion, at least. Not that it matters, but.
Well, no, it matters for this show.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let's see who we got on our viewers list over here on Twitch. Might not be anybody, but Matricula might be around. Yeah, Matricula's around.
Matricula is around.
And Jamin. So I don't call out people who haven't typed yet, but they're regulars.
Actually, also, another real quick deal. If y'all see me snacking on something, it is these. They're vodka-soaked gummy bears. They're vodka-soaked gummy bears that we're making like 10 pounds of for a herf that we're going to San Antonio this weekend. Me and my wife, and 10 pounds of this goodness.
Are those gummy bears or gummy worms? Because that is a really elongated bear.
Actually, the gummy bears are over here. These are not even worms. Haribo, which is the only company I use, shameless plug, they should actually,
sponsor the show tonight, yeah.
Exactly, but they have a new line called Twin Snakes.
I saw that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good movie, right? And
Porno.
they're put together. One's sweet and one is sour, so you never know which one you're going to get. So we're experimenting with them, and so far it's really good.
And I'm the host, Travis Sivart. Tonight I'm having Paul Mason brandy, smoking some Autumn Eve from C&D in my first pipe, a GBD. And do a real quick shout out to the Fat Boys and the Scoundrels and do a patch check there. Yeah, everybody got theirs? I think Ed's got some patches, just not these, right? There you go. Everybody showing them off?
I'll show the bit.
What do you got there,
wait,
Ed?
and I got my name, too.
Oh, there we go. So, Andrea's got extras because there are no femme fatties yet.
You know, that's actually one of the things that we've discussed on multiple times, but our thing is getting the ball going with getting enough women up front to say, hey, let's do this. Because, of course, we're equal opportunity offenders. We want to make sure that we have enough women that we can, you know, bust their ass up front as well. You know, we need to have, you know, have it going. But
Yeah,
we actually do want to do something like that. Do a custom patch for the ladies as well. You know, do something like that. So that's in the talks as of now.
Let's do the opening.
But Andrew, if you want something, you can get some girls together on Scoundrels.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I know Linda and Red would be up for it probably.
Mm-hmm.
So we have at least 3 of you. Real quick, the opening toast. Here's to boobs and cigars. 2 things I love putting in my mouth, but not at the same time.
Salud.
Unless you're Bill Clinton.
No, that would be cigars and vagina, right? Put one in the other, then the something around that nature.
Hold on while I light this
A little bit.
if you know what I mean.
Just I'll tell you what, you got to be careful because you might have to let it dry before you light it.
Yeah.
Oh, you never want to let the vagina. Oh, look at the flask I brought tonight.
Jesus Christ!
It's a wee little flask.
Just a nip.
Hey, Ian. How are you? Ian's on Twitch. Ed, anything going on Facebook that we need to say hello? What's people drinking, etc.?
Yeah, Ian's got a Mohawk Kentucky Fire Cured Swamp Thing.
A what?
Wow.
Swamp? Yeah,
I don't know. It's like, is there a cure for that?
The Swamp Thing.
But he posted a picture of a cigar.
Yeah, it's a double wrapper. Half the top of it, from basically the head to the band, is Connecticut. From the band down to the foot is a Candela wrapper.
Yeah.
And they have 2 versions. They have the Swamp Thing, which is, I believe, the Toro size, and the Swamp Rat, which is like a Corona Gordo size, I guess, if you will. It's not quite a Corona. It's not quite Robusto. It's kind of in between.
Right.
So yeah.
And we'll probably need to talk about those sizes.
Yeah.
When we start talking cigars, just so no. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the Kentucky Fried Cure. If you ever tried that one, itself, not the Swamp Rat or the Swamp Dog or the Swamp Thing or Swamp Ass, none of those. But the regular Kentucky Fried Cure, it's like licking coal, like barbecue coal, literally like licking them.
I gave my wife all my KFCs. I got a thing of Delfinos when they discontinued them, so I bought up some and you could ask Travis. He knows how I am. I don't like to buy singles. I'll buy boxes at a time.
Oh yeah.
So I got them.
Did you got money like that?
No, it's just I find like killer deals. I mean, I find dudes are like auctioning shit off, and I'm like, dude, nobody's buying these. Like, I'll take it. Fuck it, you know.
Right.
You know, and so and my thinking is, if I don't like it, I could give one to the wife, and if she likes it, she can have them all. If she doesn't like it, I can see if anybody else likes it, just give them to them.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't a fan of the regular KFC.
Yeah, you know? if that had been the first cigar I ever tried, I wouldn't be a cigar smoker today.
You know, the first one that I ever tried, and we should put some of this off till we get back after the song, but it was actually a Cohiba. Which
really?
And I'm not a fan of them now.
A Cuban Cohiba or
that's what I was going to say. Which one?
Yeah. What is it, Nicaraguan?
I have no idea. You know, this is... 15
They
years.
have they're now General Cigar has them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dominican, Nicaragua, yeah, they have them. Actually, the best cohiba I ever had was a yellow band. People would think it was fake, but it wasn't. It was from the Dominican Republic. It was from a company called Monte Cristi, not Monte Cristo, but Monte Cristi, and they were sued by Cigar General back in the mid '90s, and that's why after that lawsuit, Cigar General started doing the red dot cohibas.
Oh,
that's why. So part of the lawsuit was they could still make them, they just can't outsource them to the U.S. So if you can find them laying around, they still make them, like I said, but you just can't find them in the U.S. You got to really look for them. But
it's the Monte Cristi yellow label.
Yeah, it's Cohiba yellow. It looks like an old school Cuban yellow band, but it says Dominican Republic on there. It doesn't say Cuban, because that's
right.
A lot of people say, oh, well, it's fake because it says Dominican Republic. It's like, no, it's a real Cohiba, just not a Cuban.
Cuban Cohiba,
it's not, and it's not a cigar General Cigar Company Cohiba. It's from a kind of a smaller Dominican Republic only based company called Monte Cristi.
There you go. Yeah, I found them to be, in general, then being my first cigar, I was like, oh, okay. Enjoyed it enough to have more cigars afterwards, obviously. But now I actually find them to be a bit mild for my tastes, and they're more selling a name, and yuppies in the 90s and whatever they are called today are the ones that go for them, in general. Now, again, I live by the philosophy of smoke what you like and like what you smoke. So I am not judging you. If you have Swish or Sweets, have a good time, bud. I don't want one. But, man, enjoy it.
Well, see, it's like, have you seen the new blue dot or blue band cohibas that came out?
No, not even yet.
They're supposed to be the average man, the everyday smoke. There's like a $2 price difference between them and anything else.
Okay.
So it's really not much of
higher
a difference.
Or lower?
Saying, it's lower. But they're still about $9 a smoke. So,
Oh, here, let me show you this, by the way. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, I do. It's a Foundry band.
It is. It fits right there.
Well, yeah, but you got dainty fingers, right? I mean, that's like what, size 9?
No, that's like 11.
Oh, dude, that's my pinky.
Yeah, well, you're fat.
Actually, that's not even my pinky. I resized my pinky's 12 and a half.
Yeah, I heard you get a 9.5 in the cock ring, though, so it all balances out.
Yeah, it's a circle of life. It's the yin to the yang, man.
But you've had 2 kids with 1 ball, so it all balances out.
Pull it exactly,
By the way, if anybody's watching on Twitch and you like a nice custom ashtray, we will post Al Lapeter's business, Computer Nut Creations, where he will custom make ashtrays for you. And it's great quality. It's good stuff. I have put hot cigars on this and not blistered. The stuff he lines it with. I'm loving his product here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's his own semen, that he lines it.
It didn't taste like it when I was licking it, but whatever.
Don't give away his secret.
I'll take 2.
Come again? Yes, please. Okay. Did anybody have anything interesting going on this week? Because obviously we're going to be able to talk this to death. So let's talk about.
I have something interesting, kind of boring, but I still find entertaining. Right. So last year,
the rectal exam again, is it?
No. That's a different story.
Okay, go.
But last year, I live in a flooding area, and I'm in the desert. But we get like 1 month a year of monsoon season where it just like pisses everywhere, right? So last year it flooded. My neighbor's house got flood damage. I'm on the higher end of the landscape around here, so we didn't get any. So we made little makeshift levees. And this year it happened again, but of course our levees held up. But my neighbors did it, and I felt bad, so I went out and helped them for a little bit. And there was trucks that pissed me off because they're driving 30 miles an hour down the street. You just see the water just splashing us. We're like, really? Fucking stop the truck and let me talk to you real quick. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. Playing in the rain.
You know what? We just lost Andrea. We've lost Andrea and Ed. It's like they're going out one by one. I expect an alien to pop out every time.
And then there were 3.
That's okay. They're both rebooting, and they'll be back in a moment for anybody going, what the fuck? Okay. What do we got here? We got that. We got that. Okay, I posted Ala Peters and tagged him. I said Peter. So people could check that out.
You made it fancy. It wasn't just Peter. It was a La Peter.
Isn't that his name?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all fancy. It's not just a regular Peter.
No,
fancy Peter.
It's like a French Peter.
It's the French Peter. Le Peter.
This week, I had, let's see, which sounds more interesting to talk about, a failed race riot or a fire department pig picking?
A failed race riot.
I think as an ex-fireman, I say the race riot.
Yeah.
The failed.
The pig picking is pretty much a pig picking, which, by the way, if you ate. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
You ate.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, some people might not know what a pig picking is. Essentially, here's an outdoor event and we're eating smoked pork. Oh, okay. Done talking about that. So, about a week ago, a little more, one of the local people put up, hey, Acme Antique. Ed, you came back just in time for this, man. It's a failed race riot. Posted on Facebook, hey, Acme Antiques in Tappahannock is racist. And he had a picture of the sign that says, come inside to our antique store and do some picking. And he's like, that's racist. And then, you know the animal butlers you get where they hold the tray and you put your keys on it or your drink?
Yeah.
Well, right by the front door, they had a chimpanzee one. He went, that's racist.
Oh, my God.
And then, reading through his sayings, I found out he didn't even take this picture. Somebody else took it. He had never actually been inside the store. But he had some black Americana. You know, like the banks that feed the coin to themselves or the Aunt Jemima bottles or whatever. And he said, those are racist. This is a racist place, and we're going to form a march and march on this antique store. Now, it failed because basically they went, yeah, let's do this. And they had hundreds of responses. People from as far as Richmond going, I'm coming out for this, blah, blah, blah. Well, they found out they need a permit 60 days ahead of time before they block traffic and so on. Okay.
Yep.
So I did go out this weekend, and now as I'm waiting to see if anything actually happens, because the guy said, I'm not going out. I'm not going to be leading any kind of protest or march. But that's not saying it's not happening. That's just saying he's taking his name out of the top billing. As I'm waiting across the street at a car dealership with my little notes and my camera, a bike gang of like 30 black guys pull up a half block away at a local restaurant. And the more bikers pull up, white guys. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Now, everybody goes in the restaurant except for the two biggest black guys there are. I mean, these guys must have been 6'6", 6'7". And they go over to the store, and I'm sitting across the street, and I watch the employee come out of the back door with them, walk around, point at different statues, go in. And these guys hold the door open for another lady and let her in. And they come out 5 minutes later and go off and have lunch. So I head in, and the women are like, yeah, they want to know about wolf statues. We figure they may or may not have something to do with this, what's going on, and we just treated them like every customer, showed them what they wanted to see. They took some pictures of a bunch of different things, and off they went. So I wonder if the guy who is putting it together locally contacted it, because the bikers were out of D.C. Wonder if they contacted somebody in D.C. that deals with this kind of stuff, and basically these guys walked in and went, it's an antique store, calm your tits. I want to say,
if only.
Ed, do you want to go in and look for racist stuff?
No, because I had my own dose of ignorance this weekend.
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, I went camping this weekend. Teresa and I pulled out Wednesday. We camped about 30 minutes from home. Decided we weren't supposed to leave till Thursday. Pulled out Wednesday night. Decided to run back to Wally World Thursday morning, get the oil change on the truck. She wanted a haircut, yada, yada, yada. Pick up some last minute stuff to camp. So I'm sitting out back of the Wally World, and I had on The hat that you see me wear, we shared the patch on here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tread on me, right?
Right.
On my hat, front of my hat. So I'm sitting there. White guy comes along, like your hat, brother. Turns out he's into 18th century reenactment. Had a little conversation there. Yada yada yada.
Nice.
Technician comes out, gets him to go and look at his car. So I'm looking at something on my phone. I don't know, reading an article, and I can see coming at me two brothers. Of course, it's brothers. And I see the one. No, man, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Hey,
leave him alone.
Ed, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Your buddy Bob there wants to correct you and say African American.
Fuck you, Bob.
Go on, Ed.
So I know what's coming. Okay, one of the dumbasses is going to say something about the patch on my hat, and sure enough, yo nigga, what the fuck's up with your hat? And so I raise my eyes slowly and look at him and start counting to 100. And he proceeds. No,
holding up fingers.
So, he proceeds to go into the whole house nigger, Uncle Tom, blah, 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 bullshit. But he made a mistake. He let me stand up.
I have a feeling the story's going to change here.
Now, this is because you don't tread on me patch?
Yeah, don't. Oh, yeah, you haven't heard that? Antifa says this is racist.
Who's Antifa?
The whole.
They're the leftist group that's supposed to be anti. They're supposed to be anti-Nazi, but actually, everything they do is kind of Nazi-ish.
Yeah, so, they're not anti-ignorance, obviously.
Okay, right. Go on.
So I stand up and I tell him in so many words, had you asked me with a little bit of civility what that patch meant, I would be happy to explain it to you. But since you decided to act like a Negro, we have two choices. You can walk away, get the fuck out of my face, and leave me alone, or you can keep mouthing at me, and I'm going to beat you within an inch of your fucking life. And about that time, I hear a voice off to the left. It just happens to be the guy that I was speaking to earlier saying, and what he doesn't do, I'm going to finish off. So they left.
Good choice.
I'll tell you what, I've been waiting to get finished off.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have.
But, wait, it's a different fit. I'm sorry.
Ed, when they left, did they leave with like the posturing and the strutting, like, "Yo, you're just lucky"? Or did they just turn and fucking walk away?
The second guy that was like, "Leave him alone," just pretty much grabbed him and like, "Let's get the fuck out of here, man. Now, leave that guy alone."
So. Now, from what I know, Don't Tread on Me was the Texas...
Revolutionary War. War.
All the way back. Thank you. Go on. Give me more.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Revolutionary War, it was originally a ship's banner. Mm-hmm. And the Marine Corps actually adopted it as their original slogan. The snake representing the 13 colonies and the Don't Tread on Me. And then several other units during the Revolutionary War also used to fly that flag.
Okay, so why are people thinking this is racist? Because it's associated with the origins of our company or country where slavery existed?
Because they're fucking ignorant. They think it comes from the Civil War.
Because they're ignorant. They're ignorant.
That's okay.
What it is.
In the failed race riot thing, somewhere on there, I'm going to use a bad word for all you sensitive people. Cover your ears, walk away. One of the black guys used the word nigger, and one of the white people went, how dare you use that? And the black guy was like, well, this is something you white people put on us, and we had to use it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, I didn't respond publicly because I was the reporter's due to appear at the scene. I'm like, nigger doesn't come from white people. Nigger comes from Nigeria when we were pulling in slaves and when black people were selling, tribes.
Not to cut you off, but I thought, and again, this is a history class I took years ago, but I thought it was Niger because that's when I found out there was a country called Niger and Nigeria, and I was like, well, why would it come from Nigeria? But it was from Niger because they were discussing about where they got their slaves from.
Thank you.
They said, oh, from Niger, and somebody didn't know how to pronunciate Niger right and ended up saying nigger, and that's kind of how it came
anything
about.
to add to that?
It's from the Latin word Niger, which means dark or black or whatever. And for instance, the beer, what is it? Niger Modelo or whatever the hell
Negro
it is.
Modelo, yeah.
Negro Modelo, yeah. It's from a Latin word.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. There's our history education this week. Let's go into a song. Let's come back, and poor old Navy Dad feels like he needs some boobs.
Oh gosh.
He's suffering. So I'm gonna bring us into a song. What do we got coming up first? We got Weird Al Yankovic, Close But No Cigar. So we'll be back in a couple minutes here, guys, and I'm gonna go get me another drink. So entertain everybody. You entertain your Navy Dad there, Ed, on Twitch, and I'll be back in a moment there.
He's only on there because he thought we were going to be showing some boobs.
We can't even show man boobs without getting in trouble.
No, not on Twitch. We can't. Sorry, Bob. You can hold up your cigar though.
Don't worry. I did my own research off of Twitch. You know, make sure I was thoroughly educated.
I'm looking right now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh. This one right here.
Be like, hold up. Oh shit, that's balls. That's balls, not tits.
No! Oh God, I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
Luis Guzman, not Juan Guzman. Luis Guzman. That's the one you remind me of.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
Luis.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Juan. I just typical Mexican. Everybody's named Juan or Jesus or Mary or Luis Guzman. Yeah. Dude's a funny as hell guy.
Oh yeah, he is. He's and such a talented actor.
Oh yeah, he really is.
I'll tell you what the problem with him is that he's got that street look, for lack of a better term, and so he really can't branch out, which is a shame. Because
actually, there's a movie he came out and it was really, really good. It was really funny of all things. I didn't expect it to be that good. Really kind of B-budget movie. It's called like Our Trip to Paris or something like that, where he's
Puerto Ricans in Paris.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans in Paris. Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I thought that was a pretty good movie.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but, I was expecting a lot worse for it being, one of them kind of almost straight to DVD type stuff,
Right.
But it was actually pretty good. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, you get those actors that can't branch out. Like Danny Trejo, he can't get anything besides but just because of the way he looks. And
but to be honest, he didn't start out as an actor, so
yeah, that's true.
And he's like 5'4".
Is he short?
Yeah, he's like really short. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like a midget? That's awesome.
He's freaking. Let me pull it up and get the actual height.
I'm so excited by that.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5'6". My mistake. So he's not terrible.
Well, that's still short.
That's a half inch taller than me.
He is 73 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't get started until he was like in his late 50s. Yeah.
Out of prison the second time.
Right.
I was watching Defenders with Sigourney Weaver on there, and she's 67 years old.
She's still pretty good looking for an older gal.
She looks awesome.
I'd bang her.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bang you if you banged her, just to say I got close.
by association, man.
Wow.
6 degrees of sexeration,
That's it.
Were you here when he mentioned how long it's been since he's gotten laid? I don't think this is any kind of special compliment.
No, he wasn't.
No, right now it's not.
It's just, I'll take anything. Hey, Aiden.
I won't take Aiden. Don't take anything. Say, hey, Aiden. Like, come on. Don't do that to the poor kid. Is he even a legal adult? I mean, come on. What are you trying to do?
Well, is there an illegal adult? I'm asking the Latinos in the room.
No comment.
No habla inglés.
I got my papers, man.
I was gonna say my people are citizens because your people took
My
over
dog
my
got
country.
his papers too.
Oh. What kind of crazy world are we living in?
Oh.
Okay. We got about a minute left, and we're back.
Okay, Bob, I put a call out on Facebook for the ladies to insert a boob pic here.
Whoa, where?
Jean answered the call. She's been the only one. Sorry,
I already
I
have
tried
my
to help
boobs on the banner.
I gotta find this.
So do I.
Okay, I will post the event page link. Should I put it in the Facebook group or the Twitch chat? Where do you guys need it?
Wherever I'm gonna find it quickly.
Okay, we're gonna put it over here in the private Facebook chat.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, go on.
There's some boobs.
This is why I have shitty fucking internet.
And Jean, thank you for answering the call, darling.
The call for boobs.
The call for boobs.
Right,
I don't believe it. Come on, internet.
I don't see it.
Sigourney Beaver. That's funny. 10 seconds, folks.
Oh, he's got 1 million of them.
He's got 1 million beavers.
I don't see any beaver. Oh,
and we're coming back on Sigourney Beaver.
Yeah, we are.
If you know what I mean.
I don't see any.
So, cigars and boobs. I guess we could talk about boobs for a minute, then get back to the cigar topic.
I can't find any of the pictures.
Me neither.
Why?
Yeah,
wow.
Why?
You could probably just Google the word boobs and find something.
Not the
Go
same.
to the Google.
Not
the
same.
Google.
Let me see Google.
Let's see. See, I see where Ed posted, but I don't see any responses under there.
It's in another part. Hold on. There'll be a response there in 1 second.
She posted above.
What?
Oh,
wait. It's in reply. Okay, it's in reply to the Twitch channel link, the pinned post all the way up top.
Hold on, I need to go back.
There we go. You're welcome.
Good. It said I tried to post, and it says this message contains content that has been blocked by our security system.
What? Really?
Tried to post a picture of boobs.
Gene sent edited boobs.
Where?
I tried to post it in under your thing.
And Facebook blocked you from posting boobs?
Facebook or Twitch?
Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, Facebook's been getting real.
Really? No boobs, but the nipples are covered.
Wow.
Maybe it's just too much teat.
You know, let me tell you something. It's fun. I'll tell you what's funny. At this point in my life, I'm 50 years old. Trust me, I've seen 1 billion fucking boobs in my life. I don't care at this point. But something about when you get that unexpected boob shot, it brings you right back to being like a 14-year-old.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
It is. Like when you see a woman sit down and she's in a skirt, no matter how much of a gentleman you are, if those legs are wide enough, just instinctually you go, what's that? Oh.
Or the sundresses, you're like, come on, gust of breeze. Come on, gust of breeze.
I am a perfect gentleman, but I am not turning down a golden opportunity for nothing.
Or when they take off their dentures and you're like, man, I've been gummed in years. That would be. What?
Yes.
Am I the only one that? Am I the only guy to ever be gummed?
Ronnie, that reminds me. My mother wants you to call.
Oh. Hey, just hit me up on the messenger. Give me your number. I'll talk to her when we're done here.
Okay, so now let's talk about cigars. So I want to start out with basic description of cigars. So I'd like to go over when people walk into a cigar store or whatever. The most basic thing is ring gauge and size. Now, I could sum this up real quick and easy, guys. You're going to get two measurements. One is how many inches long it is. The other one is how thick it is. If it's about as thick as a quarter, that's about a 42 to 45 ring gauge, roundabout. I have had up to 80 ring gauge cigars, and they do make larger. And
now you're sucking the thick. Yeah, if you're going at 80, yeah, now you're just slurping. It's ridiculous at some point. Now you got what I will say is cigars, depending on the size of cigar, the size of the cigar should fit your personality.
I've got a very big personality.
A guy like me, I can't smoke what do they call it starts with an L.
Lanceros?
I can't. Thank you. I can't smoke a Lancero because the Lancero's too thin, and so it makes me look like I'm French. Like, oui. Right. You know, I gotta smoke something anywhere from probably like a 50 to a 60 ring gauge is what I smoke, where I feel comfortable smoking, and the size does matter in your comfort.
It does. Now,
you like a mouthful.
I like a strong cigar. I like a long smoke. But once you're up like past a 60 gauge, you really do. Yeah, you're not smoking a cigar. You're wrapping your lips around a cigar at that point.
Go on.
We're talking about this right now. Have any of y'all ever heard of the Roma Craft Femur?
Oh no.
Okay, Roma Craft is a good boutique smoke. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. But they have a cigar called the Femur, and here is the measurements: 10-inch long by 500 ring gauge.
No.
What the? Are you kidding me?
It's meant
like a
to
2-liter
resemble.
Bottle.
It's resembled to be like a femur. That's why they call it a femur.
How can you even enjoy that?
I've never smoked it. If I ever get one, I wouldn't smoke it. It'd be a showpiece, just because.
That's
like.
If you smoke it, you need video. We need video.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a given. I mean, as Travis, we live by a certain code within our group, which is video or it didn't happen. Period.
Right.
Your story means nothing unless there's proof.
You know, I'm really surprised we got 5 minutes out of size. I really thought this would be like one sentence, move on to the other stuff here.
Really? With this group?
I mean, you really could, all kidding aside, you really could get into a whole hour just discussing different ring gauges and lengths, you know. Anything from a Robusto or Toro to Churchill.
As opposed to a debate tonight, I'm aiming to educate some newer cigar smokers on what to look for and what to expect.
And even on that, like Ronnie was talking about, you know, you start getting into Robustos, Toros, and Churchills and stuff. Now some companies don't even want to call their stuff Robusto. They want to call it like a Corona Grande, or they don't want to call. They don't want to call it a Toro. They want to call it a Robusto Extra, or what? You know, they're coming up with their own names for what's been an industry standard for years. Now they're just, and it's like it's the same fucking size. No, but ours is called this. Like,
it's just them putting their name on.
Yeah, when you go to a size and they're like, Robusto, Churchill, etc. You know what? Just look for the inches and the ring gauge. Go by that. That way you don't have to worry about somebody's name. You have an idea.
And you will remember when you look at the numbers, the first number is going to be the inches. The second, which will be 2 numbers normally, will be the ring gauge. Yeah, and the ring gauge means the circumference, just like when you're wearing a ring.
Yeah, and just so you know, if you are confused and you see a cigar that's a 6x60, if it's not 60 inches long, that's the ring gauge. Okay.
Well, and actually on that. If it's there are some where if it's over 100 on the front number, which is the length, then that's a European market style, and they go by centimeters. Because you'll come up with something
where every man gets double digits.
Yeah, exactly. you'll have, and I have friends from Europe, where they're like, hey, have you tried this? I'm like, no, what is it? Oh, they're like, oh, it's like a 125 by 60. I'm like, holy shit, that's like 125 inches. That's fucking low. I'm like, duh, centimeters. I'm like, okay, so roughly 25 centimeters roughly equals an inch. So I'm like, okay, doing the math.
No, that's a 5-inch cigar.
30 centimeters equals a foot.
30 centimeters equals a foot? What the hell kind of math? Hey, yeah, and that's 3 inches, huh?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's true. There's 30 centimeters to a foot.
30 centimeters to a foot?
Yes.
How is that?
So you're talking about 125 centimeter cigar. You're saying it's like almost 4 feet.
Maybe they're going in millimeters.
No,
okay.
It's well,
might be millimeters.
It might be millimeters. But either way, you get what I'm saying.
So let's talk about cigar strength real quick.
Hold on.
We've only got a 3-hour show.
Okay, but before we talk about strength, for those who don't know about cigars, can I just... Yeah. This is a spiel I give so that people could understand what cigars are. Cigars are an investment in time and an investment in yourself. So before we start laying everything out, understand this, that when you smoke a cigar, it's not like a cigarette. A cigarette is a physical addiction. You take 2 puffs of the cigarette, you've gotten the nicotine in you, you're done with the Jones, you can chuck it. When you look at a cigar, you're talking anywhere from a 40-minute to a 2-hour event. Where when you look at a cigar and you say, I'm going to light this, you're saying, I'm going to take X amount of time to myself. And it's a very important concept to get when you start talking about cigars and why people will or really do get into cigar smoking. It's about sitting there, and when you do it by yourself, it's about that time to sit back and reflect over the day or over a problem or something about yourself. And when you do it with another person, it's about the camaraderie, investing time in each other.
Just like sex, guys.
It is.
Well, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. 8 inches long, that big of a girth, 40 minutes. No, I'm not going to spend it smoking a cigar. I'm going to spend it using it on something else.
Oh, you might, but I mean, I'm by myself, so I'm by myself, so all I got are my cigars.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna waste these 2 hours on this.
I am not
I agree with you.
masturbating for 2 hours.
I think you hit it on the head, about what it is. You're investing. And sometimes it's not. I know that what I'm fixing to say is part of a subtopic of our one of our main topics of cigars. But it's not just, hey, I bought some cigars, I'm just gonna leave them right here on the table until I get around to smoking. No, you got to invest, and it's almost like a even though it's not an animate object, it's still almost like a child or a partner or something like that. You got to take care of it, upkeep.
Okay, guys, cigars. It's a choice. It's a vice of choice. It's a lifestyle. It's no different from any other hobby like golfing or anything else.
Meth.
You are going to make it. Yes, meth is a lifestyle and a hobby. You're going to invest in accoutrement for it. You're going to learn to enjoy the ritual. It's something you do because you enjoy it, not because you need it.
Exactly. It's and there's a parallel for people.
Yes.
Well, no, you need. Yeah. Trust me. Right now, I need sex. I need it. But
let's start a GoFundMe for hooks.
There's Andrea and boobs, real quick. We're going to shift over to boobs. There's Andrea showing boobs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But smoking cigars, for those of you who never have, there's a parallel between smoking cigars and drinking wine. Okay, and the parallel is this. Cigars are an event, just like when you sit and you drink wine. You compare a cigar with different alcohols, different meals, just like you do with wine.
Different people.
You age it, right? You age a cigar, just like you can age a bottle of wine. If you age it too much, it starts to lose some of its flavor, some of its full bodiness, just like a bottle of wine. The price of a cigar does not dictate the taste, just like a bottle of wine. You develop a palate, just like with a bottle of wine, and your palate will change over time.
It will.
So a cigar that you like today, in 2 years, you might not be able to smoke it anymore. because your palate has changed.
I just posted.
And I agree with you.
By the way, for everybody on the Facebook event page, I did just post Andrea's melons for everyone.
Whoa.
No.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Let me get to the
you can
Facebook.
go check out her jugs.
No, they're melon. Is it the jugs too, or just the melons?
Yeah.
I'm seeing some guy's ass. What the hell is going on?
Where did you
looking
go?
at?
Okay, look, I'm looking at nice jugs in a green sweater, and then the hand bra, and there's some guy's ass.
What?
Oh, you know what? You are on the messages.
Marco.
Go
He's
to the
in
damn
Messenger.
event page. Genius.
That wasn't just the man's ass. That was Nacho Libre, man.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize.
So, okay. So can we get on to these other things? Because we're almost an hour into the show, and we've only covered size. I'd like to cover more tonight, guys.
Let's do it.
Guys are
Round.
all about the size, you know.
They are. Get off the size. It's not that important. It's important, but not
Exactly.
that important. Now let's talk about wrapper strength and filler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So once upon a time, the wrapper didn't have to do with the strength. You could have Maduro wrappers, which were very dark. You could have Connecticut, which were very light, and a few other kinds that you guys can tell us about. But now it almost seems like most cigar companies are putting all their stronger cigars in a Maduro wrapper and all their mild cigars in a Connecticut wrapper. What do you guys think?
Well, I think a lot of that is a growing trend just because of what the consumer is saying they want darker. But a lot of the consumers, a lot of the newer consumers realistically don't understand the difference between strength of body and strength of flavor.
See,
you
this
can
is
have
why I say
something.
I like full flavored, full bodied, because they are two separate things.
They're two, like for example, La Flor Dominicana has a cigar called NAS, N-A-S, and it is an acronym. You've heard it, you've had it, right?
Yeah, I've had it.
Nasty as shit. I can't take it.
Really?
It's nasty as shit, just like it says. I mean, but then again, I've had stuff that people are like, you know what, I don't like that. It's a dark Maduro wrapper, but it's just the wrapping of it, and they're like, you know what, I don't like it. It's too mellow. Because what happens is people are associating dark wrappers with stronger.
Right.
And that's not always the case.
Do you guys find that the wrapper changes the flavor of the cigar more than the smallest bit?
Of course
it does. It does, but it doesn't define the whole cigar. Because if you really talk to people that actually have been in the industry and they've worked in directly in the manufacturing process, a lot of these blenders, they'll get the filler and they'll wrap it with the binder, no wrapper, and they'll just smoke that for a little bit to see if they're onto it. Mm-hmm. They don't add the wrapper onto it, if that's the case, so that's what I'm saying. Wrapper has some play to me, but it's not everything like some people say, wrapper is everything. No,
here's where it's going to come down to. Again, this is going to come down to as you develop your palate, okay? You're going to find that you're going to take different flavors from the cigar. Okay, now when we talk about filler, we're talking about
what's inside the wrapper.
What's inside the wrapper, okay? So you can mix a different type of filler.
Yeah, it's like Beyonce, Fig and Cayenne.
Right, and then you go and take, and you can find that the flavor of that cigar will change based on the wrapper and where it's from. So, but as far as to what you prefer, that's going to come again with your palate. I prefer a darker wrapper for me, because I prefer more full body, and you tend to go to more full body the darker it gets.
But 5 years ago, you didn't.
5 years ago, I think I was still chewing tobacco. I don't think I was smoking cigars the way I do today.
So what you're saying is Snoop Dogg is more filling than Eminem.
No, more flavorful.
More flavorful.
Oh, okay.
And more desirable.
Remember, and like Travis said, strength has nothing to do with flavor. You can have a strong cigar that's got no flavor, and you can have a very flavorful cigar that's very light. So it's
Yeah,
not
I've had
strong
that.
malt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I have to give up one or the other, I would rather have a full flavor and less strength than more strength with no flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I see, and I'm the opposite. I'd rather have a stronger cigar because my palate's not so defined where I'll pull out certain flavors. Like you get these guys. We have one guy, Jerry, at the shop. Who I love the way because I love the way he describes a cigar. Oh, it's a hint of nutmeg and a little bit on the back end. No, I'm not that guy. I have three ways to describe a cigar. You know, if it sucks, I go, nah. If it's an okay cigar, I go, nah. And if it's good, I go, nah. That's the way I describe a cigar.
Which is the same way he describes boobs.
But Jerry will sit there and he can pull out the different flavors. I remember one time he said, "This cigar, it's kind of earthy." I said, "What the fuck does that mean? I don't go around licking
tastes
the
like
floor."
shit.
You know?
Well, it's not really that it tastes like shit. Earthy is like sometimes when you get like a fresh rainstorm and it hits dirt, but you don't smell rain. You don't smell rain. You smell dirt, but it don't smell like manure dirt. It smells like just like earthy. But I get what you're saying.
No,
dude. I'm from the country. When we get a fresh rainstorm, it smells like shit.
Real quick, guys.
No, but
if I can. Over here on Twitch, Ian says not only in a controlled environment like a shop or your own den, referring to our earlier conversation, but also while engaging in outdoor activities like fishing, camping, boating, even mowing my lawn. Might be the lower quality, but still a great add-on to the experience.
Yard guard. That's what a lot of people call them, the yard guards.
Yeah, which, and by the way, then Gene asks, so are little boobs better? I kind of like them a lot. Ian says, all depends really, but boobs of any kind are always appreciated, which I agree. And Navy Dad says, my wallet dictates a cigar, and I assume the boobs too.
Do you like a darker wrapper on your boobs? Do you like them fuller?
No, I'm pretty pale, so I really prefer a pale wrapper on any boobs that I am dealing with.
No wrapper on my boobs.
I'm good with either wrapper, just as long as they're natural. That's my thing. I don't, I don't want to start sucking out silicone and be like,
you like a natural filler.
Yeah, the natural filler. There you go.
The wrapper that I like on boobs are my lips. I will wrap those around. That's the only wrapper I really like. That's my opinion, though. But anyway.
So yeah, okay. Go ahead. By the way, Richard Knowles is listening. Hey, buddy. And he says, Travis likes every rapper from Lil Wayne to Big Pun. No, I'm pretty particular about my rappers.
He is.
It's I did.
You gotta love Big Pun though.
I don't know who that is.
Because I had a player I just crushed a lot.
Yeah, he ain't a player no more.
He ain't a player no more. I mean, he played in heaven or hell, whichever way you went. But
don't want to be a player no more.
But okay. Ronnie, going back to where you were talking about, where you just got the that pulling out notes of different cigars, because I'm getting to that point where I can pull out more than just 3 or 4.
Right.
But that comes where you were saying with the investment of your time into your hobby, because it really is a hobby.
Also,
it's not
your
a job.
Mindset. It takes a certain mindset, a calmness to be able to discern flavors, just like when you're drinking a good whiskey or brandy.
Exactly. I can't do that with alcohol. I know people that could sip a whiskey and be like, "Oh, this," and they'll pull out like, "This is caramelly." This is what I'm like. I'm already done with mine. I want to refill. What the hell are you talking about? Who has time for that shit?
So what
people
about
like that? I always go, "You're full of shit."
What about the country of origin? Do you guys find a big difference between Nicaraguan, Dominican, etc.?
I do personally, but here's the thing. Now, when you talk about country of origin, are you talking about country of origin where it's manufactured, or country of origin where the tobacco's come from?
Right.
Where they're grown from. Now,
you tell me.
Okay, for example, I love Viajes. I'm on a big Viaje tear right now.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, they're
Can you send me one?
I'll see what I can do in Sidgewood. No, because I got some goodies going out to you for Christmas anyways. You know, part of the Fat Boy Love we do every year. But what I'm trying to say is like, they're Nicaraguan tobaccos rolled in Honduras. They're good. Don't have an issue. But some of the Honduran tobaccos I find to be a little bit more bitter and tart. You know, you get on the back end, you get that little bite on the back of your throat. It's like kind of, you know, like, I don't know. It's
like a Honduran hooker.
That's just me. Yeah, you know, just like that. You know, just right in the back, you know, just kind of. But, you know,
that's
again.
Called pegging.
Where you can taste it on the back. Yeah, right. But that's just that. Now, between Dominican Republic, Nicaraguan, Cuban,
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian, you know, I mean, Brazil now, Panamanian, Mexico. Yeah, I mean, I really haven't been able to say, oh yeah, I can smoke it and tell you, oh, I know where that's from.
Oh,
however, I haven't yet, but I could pick out a Honduran cigar because it gives you that extra bite. You're just like, yeah, that's not really my style. You know,
now, I mean, what it's going to come down to, just like with any other kind of thing that you grow in the ground, it comes down to the soil.
Which has a 7-year pH cycle, and it'll actually change the whole flavor as that rotates.
Now, and real quick, another thing is we're talking about different places. Let's real quick touch on Cubans. Okay, Cuban. Every cigar you smoke has got Cuban great grandparents at this point, because understand that when Castro took over, all the great cigar makers who left took their Cuban seeds with them.
Right.
So somewhere in whatever cigar's lineage, somewhere there's some Cuban mixed in there. Yeah. So don't get caught up in thinking that because a cigar comes from Cuba that it's better or better than any other cigar that's out there.
And to add to that, it's kind of reiterating the same thing. I have had a half dozen to a dozen different Cuban cigars. They are no different from any other country of origin in the aspect that you have good and bad and in between. You have strong, you have mild, and everything in between. It is just a rarity, and that's where a lot of the charm comes from.
And it's the forbidden fruit.
That's exactly what it is. You know, you got a couple cigars like the Cohiba Bianche. I always have a hard time pronouncing it.
The
Bahique, or you got the Monte Cristo No. 2. Those are higher end cigars. But I'll be honest with you, I'll do a Padron 80 year, and it'll match up against any Cuban cigar that's out there in the market to me, you know. And you'll find different high end cigars from all over, whether it's Colombia or whether it's that's a wrong different thing. But whether it's Nicaraguan or Dominican.
Asked, what about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania stuff, I think, is pretty good on the wrapper. You know, I just think, you know, a lot of people are shying away. Like a lot of manufacturers are shying away from the Pennsylvania wrappers or even fillers, just because people are all about, you know, the more exotic it could be, the better. You know.
Yeah, we need to get some leaf from Guam.
Yeah, well, it's like remember this. Please. Remember this. 2 years ago, CAO released what they called it was a Brasilia line. It was the damn it, it's on the tip of my tongue because they did they did Anaconda recently, then they did the damn it, which one? The Fume de Cor de Fume, and then the one before that, I forget what the name of it was. It was all Brazilian stuff. They had to grow it like in the heart of the Amazon basin. That's what it was. The Amazon basin. They had to grow it like in the heart of the Amazon. It took like 10 years because the way the soil is, the way, you know. Anyways, this whole thing. When it came out, people went apeshit over it. People bought them up.
And we got to wrap this up and go into a song. So go on.
Okay, I'll make it quick. People bought them up. They smoked them. Then they bought up more so they could resell on the third party, you know, for triple the price of what it was.
Right.
And then now they're redoing it because the cycle came out. And that's what I'm saying is like people want the more exotic shit that's out there, period. Whether it's good or not. I want it because it's exotic.
Now, Ed, before we go into this, what's your opinion on this whole thing so far?
What are we talking about?
Good. Okay, next song is by Flying Blind, Smokescreen. We'll be back in a couple minutes with This Week in History. Now, let's pay some attention to Twitch. Those little bastards need some attention.
Hold on real quick.
Okay. So what do we got here? Okay, we covered that. Gene also mentions wrong show. He keeps saying pulling out, which you do, Alfredo. A lot. There's a whole lot of pulling out going on. Should we explain Navy Dad to Matricula so Matricula doesn't? Navy Dad is a buddy of Ed's. Matricula is a friend of mine. Just take each other for what it's worth and at face value, guys. Don't realize, one is having a good time and saying stupid shit, and the other one is probably off gaming right now, actually. So let's see. What do we got?
My computer's not letting me do Twitch tonight.
It's not? Okay, good enough. There you go. Yeah, don't bristle at him. He's an old military guy. I don't know, 70, 90 years old. How old is he, Ed?
He's younger than me. But he's also a cigar smoker.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. He's just saying shit to have a good time and get a rise out of people. So don't sweat it. He's not just some stranger that wandered off the street. He's cool. So
stranger who wandered off the street.
Well, we get those. We've had people pop in here and start posting really racist ass stuff.
Oh yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem with.
Yeah. Well, it's no big deal. We've had other people pop in and just be like, "Hey, subscribe to my YouTube," and I'm like, "Who are you? Go, subscribe to mine. Shut up until we're friends, and then I'll promote the hell out of you."
I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Okay. Which, by the way, go subscribe to Matricula's Twitch channel. She's got a great channel where she knits vaginas and sings horrible songs that we all love. There we go. Okay.
All right. The boobs are being posted on the Facebook page. Thank you, Victoria.
Heading on over. Showing some love. What am I hearing? Oh, it's Marco watching a video, aren't you, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Greg the Clown just posted his I Want to Be Like Cola video.
Nice. What is that in the dark? What is that? Oh, that's Victoria.
Who, me?
Okay. No, you're not in the dark. Victoria's posting pictures of herself on the Facebook event page. Cleavage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let me just say hi to her. We're on commercials. Let me just say hi to her. My little white bitch.
Gotta have one.
As much as white people are, white women, on the other hand, just back to Blazing Saddles. Where's the white women? Sucking tobacco. There's a big booty right outside the window. That is a huge booty.
Any boob?
Mm.
Oh, no. It's got its back to me.
The booty?
It does. Look over here. Look out the little secret window here.
Oh, I kind of see.
Okay, and we're back in 10 seconds.
I got a pretty good top cigar to talk about when we come back, which involves both breasts and cigars.
Okay,
Yay.
Ed, what happened this week in history?
Shit happened, y'all. August 28th, 1963. I have a dream. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivers I Have a Dream speech to a crowd of over 250,000 people on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Not all the people were on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. He was. In Washington, D.C. He spoke of a dream of the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners sitting together at a table of brotherhood. He spoke of a dream of his children. Yes, I'm preaching a little bit tonight. He spoke of a dream of his children one day living in a nation where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He spoke of a dream of white men and black men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics joining hands and singing "Free at Last." This is how you have a protest, y'all. You don't show up wearing masks and carrying baseball bats and pepper spray and attacking people that don't agree with your view. You gather together and you have someone stand before the crowd with an inspirational, intelligent message.
Ed.
Maybe that's the problem these days. Nobody knows how to deliver an inspirational, intelligent
would that be
message.
Like this show?
Oh, hell no. No. We're very inspiring.
That's what I'm saying. No,
we're very inspiring.
We're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Gathering together, different types, put them together. Here's to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here.
Here's to us. Damn it.
And Navy Dad says, I have a dream. Planet of large boobs. I also like Ed's
Of course he does. August 29th, 1863. The North and the South clashed at the second running of the Bulls. Well, not quite.
Isn't that in Madrid?
Yeah. Yeah. Union and Confederate forces meet for the second time on the field of battle outside of Manassas, Virginia. The battle commonly known as the Second Battle of Bull Run ends in defeat for the Union forces. By the way, this past weekend would have been Civil War days in Manassas, Virginia, where they get thousands of reenactors come out, set up their camp. They do little displays, little mock battles and everything. Because of all the bullshit going on in this country, they had to cancel it because they were afraid of what would happen to the Confederate reenactors.
By the way, that's why the Acme antique thing I referred to earlier, they think that's why they happened. Everything that happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, they think that's why people got their panties in a twist about this. Otherwise, they would have never even fucking noticed.
Yeah.
Stupid motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
Current events. In case y'all haven't heard, there's a hurricane going on in Texas, y'all.
Is there a good charity that anybody knows that we can post a link to help folks out if you want to do that sort of thing?
The best thing would probably be Red Cross.
I don't know. I've heard a bad thing about Red Cross where they pass money on.
And it's here's my opinion on this real quick, and I hate to get on my soapbox and take time away from you gentlemen and
jump
ladies,
on up there.
But here's my opinion. Okay, I work in radio. Okay, so I get to speak to a lot of charities. I get to speak to dabble, with a lot of different organizations, 501c class stuff, nonprofits. The only charity I truly believe in that I could legitimately say is actually finding a local charity. Now, when you start looking at a national charity, everybody starts taking their money off the top. Well, we need this, we need that, we need that. And it no longer is a charity. To be a charity, you have to actually give like 20% of whatever you get to that cause.
And it's only 20%.
Yeah, and it's only 20%. I mean, you could give more if you want, but they're saying, hey, it just said 20%. So to me, like in the state of Texas, I know in a lot, maybe other places they have a store called the Goodwill Store. That's not an actual. That's a for-profit organization. The name is misleading. It's misleading. You think, hey, I'm gonna go drop it off at Goodwill. They're gonna do whatever, blah blah. But no, it's a for. So that's what I'm saying. My thing is, if you truly want to help or whatever, find local resources that you can help out the cause. There's tons of places, churches, schools, whatever organizations that are doing something locally that I'm sure you could find on.
You can go. Yeah, you can go online. And I think it's the AFC, I think might be, or the ACF, I can't remember. And it'll list all of the charities and the percentage of the dollar that you donate that goes to the actual charity. Okay? So, like I believe with Goodwill, it's actually 95% goes to costs of running Goodwill, and only 5 cents out of $1 goes to actual charity.
By the way, Gene says Habitat for Humanity is taking donations, and I actually have a lot of respect for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
I've done some local stuff here as a reporter with them, and I really like what they do.
Yeah. But you can go online, and if you're looking at really, really donating and being serious, go online. Research the actual charity before you go and give them anything. Yeah. So that this way you know that the majority of what you're giving is actually getting to the people in need.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
We got birthdays. Unless Andrew, you got any weird news this week?
It's boobs and cigars. What's weird about that?
What's weirder than that, especially with these guys? Okay, birthdays this week. August 28th, 1970, cartoon artist Jack Kirby, yeah, baby, creator of the Hulk, X-Men, Iron Man, Captain America, and many other Marvel favorites. August 29th, 1958, the King of Pop, Michael Jackson.
Huh.
Yeah, he did now. August 30th, 1797, Arthur Mary Shelley, the creator of Frankenstein.
Nice.
August 31st, 1972, what's up, my nigga? Actor Chris Tucker. Happy birthday, Chris. Come on the fucking show, damn it.
Can you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Don't you ever touch a black man's radio.
How the fuck you get fired on a Friday? On your day off?
Happy birthday, Chris. What else is there?
Personal birthday shout outs of mine going out to Keith Patel, Tracy Vi, and Oscar Gomez. Happy birthday, people.
Now, in deaths, we actually had another one of the leaders in horror films go. And
Yeah.
Tell us, Ron.
Yeah. Toby Cooper, the guy who directed
Massacre.
Yeah, the
Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, passed away this past weekend. An incredible influence on horror films that came out anytime after during the 80s. Him and John Carpenter, two of the biggest influences, and he will be missed. He will be missed in the horror world.
Now, going on with birthdays, Ed, you got a personal one or two?
I shouted them out already, man.
Okay. Sorry, my turn then.
Done.
Annie Wacker. Her birthday is today. Happy birthday to you, baby. Hope you're doing okay. My brother's wife, Jan, hers is on the 3rd. And between now and then, who else we got? We got, my first co-host, Christopher Hall, as well as one of our previous comrades, Kat Taylor.
Oh.
And
Happy B.
Yeah. This weekend we got Blair Hollingsworth, a buddy from my early teens. And then, I think we covered all the important people there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else got any birthdays?
Well, my sister celebrated her birthday on Saturday.
Well,
so happy birthday to my sister.
Okay. So, let's go into another song, come back, and Marco, when we get back, you can talk about what it was that you want to talk about. Then we'll go into the art of smoking with all the cool little extras and a few hints and tricks of etiquette and tools. So, what do we got next on our playlist? How about... I don't know why I put these things, but here's Bloodhound Gang with Discovery Channel. We'll be back. God, I love this song. Okay.
Grab another beer real quick.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes.
Time, bro. 4 minutes.
I'll be right back.
You got a worm. Good? Good? Yeah, he liked the worm. All right, I'm back. Oh, I'm back and 2 men are down.
So, Marco, you're on the radio?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
well, I'm not really on it, but I manage it. I manage it.
I used to be on radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was on in Norfolk, Virginia, in the Hampton Roads area. I was on the number 2 afternoon show, and then I had the number 8 evening show that I did by myself.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
It is fun, man. I always say radio is a place where you could be somebody you're completely not. You can just make somebody up and just be that,
Mm-hmm.
Shit, and I had to go and be myself, huh?
Hey, I was myself.
That's your fault.
By the way,
I always say that the DJs who are themselves always have the best ratings because people relate easier to them than somebody trying to be fake.
Ed.
Yes, Travis.
There's been a request that you name all the superheroes with big boobs.
Oh, I have no idea.
Power Girl. Power Girl.
Basically,
Don't forget
the Blob.
All right, I gotta go. You guys have a great day.
That had to be Bob.
That was
definitely Power Girl.
I think they all would be because even Psylocke would be one of them.
Kitty Pryde.
I mean, they're all.
But
they're all
do you know
developed.
the story about Power?
What's the story about Power Girl?
Do you know the story about Power Girl?
30 seconds.
The person that drew it intentionally drew her with bigger boobs each time to see if anybody would say anything. That's why.
So what's her superpower? Like smashing a can with her tit? Just bam! Well, what's that chick's name?
Sure.
Wendy Whopper, or is that what her name was? Like back in the day, she had double fucking...
Huge.
5 seconds.
Yeah, whatever. They sit there put a can of...
Yeah.
We're back.
It'll give you wrecked him, damn near killed him. Oh, wait. Oh, we're back.
Oh.
We were discussing boobs, so anybody on Twitch has seen it. Anybody listening to the other stuff, maybe not. Go back and watch the YouTube afterwards, guys. You'll get to see that part. So, Marco, did you have something before we go into some of the more finer things with cigars?
Yes. Now, there is a cigar that's been waiting to be brought into the U.S. market. However, the FDA, we all hate them. Everybody in the cigar world hates them because of what they're trying to do. But this cigar specifically, this brand, this cigar specifically even more because of what it is, and it's not being blocked by the FDA for what you would think, okay? There's a cigar company called the Venus Cigar Company, okay? They have a cigar called the Venus Goddess. They don't sell them in boxes. They only sell them one at a time. Each cigar is $100. Now, the thing that makes it so special, if any of you haven't heard about this yet, research it. I'm saving to invest in several. You get a cigar that's custom made for you, obviously. I mean, the blend is exactly the same, but it comes with the serial number on it. It comes with the serial number. It comes with the DVD of the cigar being made, and it comes with the calendar of the people making the cigar. The cigar is rolled on the bare breast. Yes, the bare breast of, I believe, Dominican women.
Quit touching your boob, dude. Yes, Ed.
Yes.
Okay. Real quick. If I pay $100 for a cigar, it better be dunked in Venus's pussy.
In front of me.
But here's the reason why, the price tag or whatever. With the serial number, when she's rolling it, they're recording it. They're recording her rolling it. She obviously will show you the serial number, put it on the cigar. You get that with the matching DVD showing. And you get a calendar of all the women that helped produce this thing. Now, the problem with the FDA is, from what I understand, is because it came in contact with the non-hand from a human, blah, 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 germs. And I'm like, I'm willing to sacrifice some germs to have this.
You're lighting it on fire.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's great that it's rolled on a bare breast. However, on the tip of the cigar, you have a little piece of leaf. It's called the cap.
Correct.
And normally they'll use some glue on there to keep it on. And what the cap does is it keeps the leaf, the binder, from unwrapping.
Mhm.
Okay? Unless that is glued with the milk of a lactating Dominican woman, I'm not paying 100. Because I'm a big fan of breast milk. I'm a huge fan.
And apparently
Oh
breast
yeah,
glue
it's
also.
sweet. Yeah, it's sweet. I mean, it's great.
Delicious.
It is. It's fucking. It's part of a hearty meal, man.
Don't. You know what? People out there going, this guy's a freak. He's weird. Okay, that's true, but that's got nothing to do with my love of breast milk. Which, as I get older, you understand, my bones get more brittle.
Ronnie,
I need
the biggest problem is every time you walk in the grocery store and request it, and choose the person you want it from.
I choose you.
You can't pick it out like a lobster.
Why can't I? You sit there and say, "Oh, I want almond milk." They're more than happy. I want goat milk. They'll give it to me. I want breast milk, and it should come from the redhead over there with the big natural boobs. It's me. I don't know.
So,
Hey, I mean, it's like Pokemon.
Pokemon? Yeah, I poked a few
Pokemon.
moms in my day.
Yeah, I choose you. I want that lactating.
Oh, Pokemon. I thought you said
No, Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Okay, you know what? You do. Mute yourself.
Wow.
You're done for a minute.
Oh yeah, sure. The minute the Hispanic guys start talking, now we're done.
Now we're done.
Here's the thing.
Look at the man keep somebody else down for a change. What's the thing, Andrea?
The Venus thing. Okay, great. $100 rolled on a boob. What's so special about the boob that makes it? Is it a special celebrity or something?
No, it's just males have always had the fascination with breasts. For example,
I understand.
I know all of you. I know most of y'all know enough.
Sexist.
Are educated enough to say, you know what, the U.S. is one of the only, I guess you'd call, cultures that adore the breast in a sexual manner.
Or
you
fears
go overseas, or fears it. But you go overseas and you see women talk. They're like, it's just a tit. It's no big deal. This company, Venus, they found a way to say, hey, we could take a $3 cigar that we could charge $8 for in the U.S. and instead charge $100 because it's a hit.
Okay, look.
But they couldn't do that in Europe.
Now, we've got a fat boy scoundrel herf coming up in the next month or two. Now, I'm speaking for Andrea here so she can shoot this idea down. But if
you want me to roll them on my boobs?
If anybody wants to bring their
in.
own cigar, she will roll it across her boob for $20.
Wait. No. A little bit more than that.
Oh well, whatever.
What kind of roll are we gonna get? I mean, we're gonna get a quick passing. I'm not paying.
Do we get a video?
And I want
to get a video with the calendar.
And I want you to look me in the eye while you do it.
I am sure Uncle Buck will gladly strip off his shirt and spend 20 minutes rolling your cigar across his
for free
breast.
He might actually pay you.
Okay, well, what
for $100, yeah, you can roll it and you can video it.
What about eye contact?
No, are we talking about?
I will look you
I want right here. Look me right here.
Oh, she's not lactating on your tap, though.
Here's the thing: the devil's in the details. I'm a firm believer of finding loopholes. Are we talking about over the shirt, or are we talking about full bare?
If it's 100, yeah, you can, yeah. Just don't get caught on any of the jewelry. That's all I ask.
Oh, that's an extra 100 right there.
Okay.
Are we talking about a gentle
Moving on. Art of smoking. Let's talk about cutters, lighters, nubbing tools, as well as perhaps some etiquette and the bands, smoking on or off. And this is what we'll cover over the next bit between now and the next 20 minutes before we go into another song.
Okay.
So what do we want to start with, etiquette or tools?
We can start
we can start with tools.
Since I'm getting ready to cut this cigar right now.
What is it?
I have my cutter.
This is a special blend that's done by one of the guys who actually lives up here.
Nice.
He's a multimillionaire, and he smokes cigars, and he decided to create his own blend. It's a great cigar. This is the Maduro of it. Delicious cigar. The thing is, the guy's it's Hassan.
Oh, really? Okay, nice.
Yeah, Hassan buys and sells hotels. That's what he does.
Good man.
So the problem is because he's a millionaire, he doesn't do cigars to make money. So he breaks out these cigars and everybody loves them. And then they're like, I want more. He's like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. He doesn't care. So
he's like a drug dealer. First,
right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now the cutter I'm going to use, and I'll show it here, is called. This is a V cut. Okay. Now I prefer a V cut for a couple of reasons. That to cut the cigar, there's several ways you can do it. Yes.
If I can interrupt real quick, a few basics before we go into the V cut. With cutters, you have a straight cut, which is what we all think of with the little guilloline cut. A V cut looks like a guillotine, except it's V shaped, so it takes a slash out of the top of the cigar. There is a bullet cut, which gives you a punch, a punch, right? And then there's also, I feel like I'm missing one, guys.
The spear, which we have at the shop.
Like a poker, yeah.
Right. And then there's another one that does like 5 slits all the way around without actually cutting.
Sakuri.
Okay.
Yeah. I have it. It's a horrible draw.
I like a bullet cut myself, but go on.
Okay, so I prefer a V cut, and I'll tell you why. With a straight cut, again, remember we're talking about that cap. If you don't put a straight cut on a flat edge,
right,
which is the way to cut the cigar, you can go too deep. And if you go too deep, you'll cut past the cap.
What Ronnie's saying there is if you have a regular cigar cutter, a guillotine cutter, lay it flat on a table, put the cap or butt end of your cigar in it, and then snap it. It's going to cut off the barest bit. Sometimes you have to do a second one if that cap is really thick. And generally people say that's the cut you want. But, of course, it's really what you like. If you want to cut it all the way to the band, go ahead, man.
Even at that takes practice because I don't know if y'all have seen the new if you've seen the new Cigar XO cut, which is that circle one with the gears that guarantees the good cut. If you try putting that, like you said, on the table, you're going to cut too much.
Right.
It's really thick. It's really thick.
But that's because of that particular cutter. But what I like about a V cut is that it's got a bevel in it. And so you put the cigar in, you never have to worry about going too deep on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you never have to worry about cutting
do you ever have to worry about going too deep?
Never.
I don't worry about going too deep. Maybe I should sometime, but I don't.
Okay, good. Go on, Ronnie.
Okay, Ronnie, real quick. Have you tried what I call it an X cut, but basically it's just a double V in the shape of an X?
No, I haven't even seen that.
Well, all it is you just do it with your V cut. You cut with the V cut, rotate it 45 degrees, cut again.
I'm going to do that right now.
I'll have to try that.
I prefer that because I think, me personally, you get the best of both worlds. You get a good cut every time, but you get a looser draw like you would, not as loose as you would with the straight blade or with straight cut, but you still get that in between draw.
How come there's no love for a bullet cut or a punch, which is what I like because I feel like you get a good concentrated smoke. You don't get
it's all preference. It's
all preference. I mean, some people like a tighter draw. Some people like a loose.
Well, the bullet cut gives you a nice loose draw without being too loose.
To me, a bullet's too much work.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to sit there and you got to saw it back and forth, and then once you get it, I've got a punch on the end of my lighter, and you got to sit there and you got to work it back and forth. And then you gotta. And
this
then
is why
the problem,
Alfred, or Ronnie hasn't been laid in so long.
Yeah, you don't want to put in the work.
It's so much work.
I agree with them though. Sometimes you just gotta get to the nitty gritty, man.
Yeah,
sometimes foreplay is good, and sometimes foreplay is like, fuck, dude, let's just get to the show.
But anything, once you put your cut, what you want to do is take what they call a dry pull. Okay.
Sounds pretty fucking painful to me.
No,
go on, but I don't know how much I'm going to agree with this one.
We're getting to the Sigmund Freud area of cigars.
Right. And what you do is all you're going to do is just puff the cigar before you light it. That's all. You're going to draw some air through the cigar.
Now, why do you do that?
It's just like smoking a pipe. You want to make sure your draw is right before you light it. That way you know if you need to cut again, cut deeper, or if you fucked it up and do it different next time.
You can also pull some of the flavors out of the cigar.
Real quick, Gene asked, do you need to make a new cut every time you light it? No.
No.
But generally your cigar doesn't go out for very long. If you do let it go out for a length of time, a good trick, and by length of time I mean an hour or significantly more, knock the ash off the end, blow out through the cigar to get rid of, basically you don't want to draw on that ashy, nasty taste, that charcoal taste. You blow out 3-4 times, good strong breaths. Don't make them wet, make them dry breaths if you can, and then relight.
Yeah. Understand that.
And Bob, that answers your question too, bud.
Whatever, when you're drawing, you're puffing, whatever comes through the cigar affects the tobacco, because a cigar is tobacco. It's not, there's no chemicals, there's nothing through it. So one of the reasons you don't want to use a Bic lighter to light a cigar is because the butane in a Bic lighter will taint the cigar leaf. So it'll taint the flavor.
Initially on those first draws, and if you're not tasting cedar, leather, nutmeg, etc., you're probably not going to taste your butane from your Bic or your lighter fluid from your Zippo. But they do say the best way to light a cigar is you light a piece of cedar on fire and then you draw from that, or a wooden match. The second best way is a torch lighter.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like when you give it a good dry pull, there are some cigar purists, and we're not gonna say snobs. We're gonna say purists. They will lose their ever loving minds if they see you cut before you light.
Okay, you know what?
What?
Yes, it's an old
okay, you're
trick.
Talking about roasting the foot.
Yes, I've done it before, and it takes a long time. It makes you look
when somebody else does it, they are a snob. If they prefer it a certain way, then they're a purist.
Yeah, but basically, it's called the 3-match trick, or the cedar spill trick, which is you don't cut the cap off. You just take either 3 long cigar matches or a cedar spill. You light it and you toast the foot, and you just sit there for a good 2-3 minutes. Toast the foot.
What I was just doing.
Yeah.
You know what? You'll do that shit, but a punch takes too much work.
And the reason why you toast the foot, though, is because you don't want it to. Because if it burns too hot, it starts to crystallize. And when it starts to crystallize, you start getting some tar build. You could develop tar buildup.
Just like
But there's guys, they'll do that and they'll toast it, and then they'll sit there, and by the time they cut it after it's toasted, it should be 100% lit. But again, those are them purist snobs that are like, no, it's this way or you're not doing it right.
You know what? I would try it to see if it makes a difference for me. Why not?
At the end of the day, it comes down to if that's your preferred way of doing it, fucking do it. If you want to do it with a match striker or a metal match striker and a pocket knife, do it. I don't care. It's your cigar, not mine. You're smoking, not me.
Ed, somebody, I don't know if you'd be able to figure out who wants to know, what does Ed like to suck?
No matter how bad Ed tries to get out, they keep bringing him back in.
Boobs. Now, do you light those ahead of time before sucking on them?
do you toast the nipple?
At least warm them up a little, right?
You just warm it up a little, lick them up a little,
We have lost so many people on Twitch tonight. I think it's only us left.
And if she's lactating, it's even better.
See now. See, Ed and I are right
the
there.
milkman cometh.
But anyway, the V cut, the straight cut, the punch, these are all part of the tools of the of cigar smoking.
And
but these are not the only things.
In the beginning, I mentioned the ritual. This is part of the ritual. Some folks might not want to take too much time doing all this, but it is part of the experience. It's part of whether you're alone in a meditative sort of mood or whether you're with buddies and you're enjoying the conversation. But these are the things that make it personal and make it yours.
Exactly.
And real quick to mention, the certain cuts are better for certain cigars. For example,
what's good for black and mild?
A trash can personally, but for example, if you have a figurado or a torpedo where it's kind of pyramid at the end, you're not gonna get a good V cut out of it. It's gonna suck.
I've done it though.
It can be done, but it's just to me it's a really hard draw.
I agree.
They recommend a single blade guillotine, double blade. I've even seen triple blade guillotines, which are really weird. I've never messed with it.
If you guys
or
have a
scissors
chance with guillotines, I do recommend go with a double guillotine over a single, just because it's a cleaner cut. Get your cheap ass guillotine and then get a good one. And realize the difference, and realize your good ones you can get sharpened, just like your kitchen knives. Yes, you can actually have your fucking kitchen knife sharpened. Different topic though.
No shit.
Settle down. Slow down there.
Even at that, we're leaving out scissors.
Yeah.
I've used scissors. I prefer scissors on a torpedo over a guillotine, just because I like to go in at an angle, so you concentrate more.
To clarify, these are cigar scissors. These are not
cigar scissors. Yes.
They actually look like a guillotine had sex with a pair of scissors. They're almost like.
I actually have one right here.
There you go.
This is a room 101.
There you go.
And it looks like you can just cut off some foreskin pretty quick. Just snip.
Ow!
You know. but yeah, I agree with you.
You know
I mean,
what,
like
Ronnie? You got any foreskin left? Because if it wasn't cut off when you were a baby, then it fucking rubbed off through all the years.
It's been chewed off by a couple of ex-girls.
Gummed off. That's why he went to coming.
But anyway, Marco, what were you just saying right now?
I was just saying, I prefer a cigar scissors for a torpedo or a figurado, depending on how you want to. I mean, again, it's the same concept. They're both chiseled at the end, but some people call it a torpedo, some call it a figurado. It's just whatever. But I prefer that at an angle.
Yeah, Americans that can't roll your R's, you'll just call them a torpedo.
Yeah, instead of going straight, you kind of go at an angle, and it concentrates the smoke and flavor more. I found that was a trick that I learned from an old guy. I never knew that either. I was just straight, But then a gentleman taught me this, one time, and I was like, dude, I found that you get a more concentrated smoke coming out of it, and you can start to help your palate when you can say, hey, I can taste a little bit of nutmeg, or I can taste a little bit of this, little tricks to help you get to that point. I'm still trying to
nutmeg. Some people that's like a crazy Irish girl, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 I think that was pre-operation. That was her name, Nutmeg.
Wow. Okay. What about Nub Tools? We'll cover Nub Tools real quick, guys, because when you smoke your cigar down so low that it's burning your fingers, and you're a cheap ass bastard, or you're just loving.
You get a roach clip.
No, absolutely. You're right. You can get a roach clip. You can get a paper clip and pull the two ends out and shove it in to hold it. You can get a toothpick and do it. Or, Andrea?
Or you can get this really cool sword.
But
you have the link. Who makes it?
John McPile, I believe is his name. Is that right?
John McPoyle, a.k.a. Goldilocks.
Yeah, it's one of the fat boys.
He forges them and everything, and I need this in my life. So if you want to buy me one, I'll let you. We'll get the link up and everything. You can order it and have them send it to me. It'll be great.
He just started making them like a month ago, so he's. I don't know if he has a link yet. But you can send Andrea a message, and she'll work out all the details where you can get her a sword.
They are pretty cool, They are. I mean, I've seen people that used the cheapest of. Go ahead.
Bob has a question, and he says, serious question. Sometimes the cigar is rolled really tight. Does rolling the cigar help loosen it up to make the draw easier? Real or myth?
Yes and no.
I think I agree with Travis. Yes and no. It depends on how it was stored. If it was stored too dry, it'll crack the wrapper and the binder, and you're just shit. If it was stored wetter, you can't.
You have multiple plugs. When it's so tight, you'll actually get a traffic jam in your cigar, a filler called a plug.
One time that happened to me.
There are.
And you had to put a skewer in it.
Yeah, it was actually one of the first times we went to Hogshead Cigar Lounge that we used to broadcast out of, and they were very kind about it. But yeah, you can take a hat pin, a straightened paper clip if you need to, or a special poker to jam it through and poke multiple holes through that.
And it fixes it.
Yeah, rolling it may or may not help depending on the cigar, the plugs, the humidity, etc. Okay, so what else we got here? Nub Tools, basically, I swear I am going to buy some corn on the cob holders and try that as a nub tool, see how it works out. Have you guys tried this?
They say that works and everything, and that's great, but I do, people do that, but basically you could also make your own. I have one here that I made, which is the logo is a little off, but it's a Fat Boy logo, custom made by me off of a cigar tube.
Hold it up and keep it still.
Popped it. Okay.
Okay. So how'd you make this? Let us see the poker part.
Okay. So all that is upholstery pins that I clipped. There's a wooden dowel that I shoved in. I pressed it in, drilled holes through. Clipped the upholstery pin, plugged it in.
Okay.
And so that's you could do that. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter how you get the job done, so to speak, as long as you do get the job done. But like I said, I agree. I think Johnny Mac stuff is really awesome. I do have a patent pending type of deal that I actually kind of invented out of a just drunken stupidness, and then I actually thought it was a great idea, which was what I'm calling a cigar survival tool, which is it's the same concept as a tube, like that I just showed you, but it has multiple things there. You can have a cigar punch only, not a cutter, punch for emergency, with on the bottom of the tube a striker, and inside the tube in a hidden compartment, like if you lift it out, is about 20 matches plus your nubbing tool. So if you forget anything, all you need is that plus your cigar, and you have everything from cutting, lighting, smoking,
I like
nubbing.
it. I want one for camping.
It's like those old Rambo knives.
Yeah, basically.
Without a knife.
It's a Swiss Army knife for cigars. But
now, real quick, when we're talking about something, the tools to put in to go through a cigar, you really need to make sure that it is long enough to go through the entire cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what he's talking about, guys, is not the nubbing tool, but if you have a plug and you want to push it through your cigar from the cap to the foot is where the part you light, you need it long enough to go through the whole cigar. Go on there, Ronnie.
So you just, like I said, you just want to make sure that you go all the way through. If you go to a cigar shop, they will have these little tools that look like they almost look like a lathe. If you know what a lathe is, okay? And you lay the cigar in the middle, and you take this long, skinny tube, and it'll go all the way through. You want to make sure you go all the way through. That way, you make sure you get the plug because you don't know where it is.
If I can interrupt, Michael Fanenstein had a contest going on in Scoundrels Pipe and Cigar Club on Facebook.
Who won?
I'll tell you in just a second. He was going to Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, and he wanted people to guess how many cigars he comes home with. And the winner, the one closest to the actual amount he brings back, gets some cigars from him. So he just announced the winner. The answer is 72. Congratulations, Evan Dorfman. Send him a message for your address. So
nice. Way to go.
And I told him I'd announce it on the show. So there we go. Okay, and I told him we announced it on the show. Okay, so congratulations, Evan. Enjoy that winnings there, you little bastard.
I'm trying to find a picture of the sword.
Did you and Andrea actually enter that contest?
I did. I don't know if she did.
I did not.
What was your number?
I think I went high. I think I went with like a 200 something. Because, if you buy a couple bundles or a box or two, it adds up quick.
Well, not just that, but a lot of those places actually give you a crap load of free stuff anyways. So, it's not easy. It's not hard to say, I know somebody went to Cigar Fest a couple years ago. They came out with like 400 cigars.
Oh, yeah.
You
can't, if you ever get a chance to go to any kind of cigar festival, and they'll have all different, the Great Smoke Out, whatever, Cigar Fest, all kinds of different names. They'll normally charge you anywhere from 80 to 150, but it's well worth it if you're a cigar smoker. You're going to walk away with $300-$400 worth of cigars.
Okay,
I know people that have done 2 tickets.
Nice. Let's pick this up in just a moment when we come back. Here's relating to boobs and smoking. Jimmy Buffett. Why don't we get drunk and screw? Be right back. Okay, and we can't keep talking because we are, still on Twitch and everything. But
hey, I'm trying to find a picture of the swords.
I'll go find it for you.
Things.
Yeah.
I still can't find one. So people know what they're buying me.
He can find it on the Fat Boy page.
Oh, can I? Okay, let me hop over there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's check this out.
You should be able to.
Figure.
But yeah, I know guys that have bought like 2 or 3 tickets to Cigar Fest, because you just present your ticket, so you end up with like 2 or 3 times what you paid for, or what So that's what I'm saying. I know people that have came back with like 400 or 500 cigars just because it's worth it. Hell, you pay 100. Some of them from under 100 to about 200, depending on how glitzy and glam you want to, if you want to be VIP or whatnot.
Right.
And you come back with 200-300 worth of cigars, which equates to about 60-70 cigars. But if you buy 2 tickets, you still get double that. So shit, I know.
And then as you go to the different vendors, a lot of them will have cigars that they'll hand you. This is a new blend we got coming out here. Try this one,
even shirts and hats and stuff like that. Yeah.
Ashtrays, all kinds of stuff.
Okay,
really good stuff.
And I'm scrolling down through his posts. There's one with his man boobs. There's one where he's smoking naked. Where the hell is his sword?
What?
What I mean? Well, I don't know. He just from the belly button up.
He's probably if it's Goldilocks, he's probably naked.
Probably
grinding away at what he's making, having the embers burn on his scrotum. Good old fashioned burly manly stuff.
Nothing like a good old fashioned
Goldie.
Nothing like a good old fashioned scrotum burning.
Right. Funny story. We give everybody in the Fat Boys has their own nickname. And so Goldilocks is a bald white guy.
That's why.
The reason why he got his name Goldilocks is because we had a challenge called Fat Boys Orgasm 2. They had
you did it twice?
Yeah, all right. So they had to. Their challenge was they had to go to a public restaurant, and they had to reenact that scene from When Harry Met Sally. And he did it with a blonde wig on. And he was with this blonde wig. Yes. So since they were like, dude, the fucking Goldilocks he had, so that's how he got his nickname.
Man, I would have been all blank man on that shit.
Wow, that's...
Yeah.
Okay, I am not finding a picture of his sword, if you know what I mean.
Whoa!
Marco, you search for that. Oh, we're back.
I'll let Peter have one.
And we're back. We're not going to wrap up the topic. I think we're going to carry this topic into the third hour. Let's talk about bans and how low to smoke your cigar. I'm going to venture out and answer first and go, you smoke it as low as you want to.
That's about right. That's about right.
Do you normally keep your band on, or do you take it off?
That's a preference.
That's a preference.
There's a logic to
I keep mine on until... I keep mine on. Otherwise, it tends to fall apart a little quicker. So I keep it on until I get close to it, and then I take it off.
Also, leaving a little ash on the end helps a cooler smoke. Some say it keeps it lit better, too. So that is a preference, though. You do what you want to do, but there's people who will claim certain things happen when you do it certain ways.
Here's the deal. Anybody who's gonna there's certain things that are universal, okay? But anybody who's going to claim that there is a correct way to smoke cigars is blowing smoke up your ass. The correct way, right? The correct way is however you enjoy smoking a cigar, because at the end of the day, smoking a cigar is a very personal experience. So there's etiquette. Now, as an example of etiquette is you don't pass cigars between each other.
Yeah.
No.
That's a big faux pas.
Yeah, I always feel weird when somebody's like, "You want to try a puff?" And I'm like, unless if it's Andrea, I'm like, not really.
I was gonna say, you don't look at me weird when I say that.
Marco?
Well, he normally tells you.
I found it.
Can you share that to the Facebook event page?
Yes, let me see if I could do that real quick. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna screenshot it, and I'm gonna screenshot it and then send it to the messenger, and then let you guys
just save it. You don't have to screenshot it. Just save it. Press your phone. It'll come up with a drop list. Save picture.
I got a new phone like 3 days ago. I'm still learning how to use it. I went from iPhone to Android.
Okay,
good.
Android is better.
Touch the screen, it'll drop a drop list, or in the upper right, you'll see the 3 dots. Hit that, and you'll have a download photo option.
Save that for another show.
So bands are a choice. Leave them on, take them off. Some people say if you have a poorly glued band, you can actually tear your wrapper.
Yes, you can.
Your cigar band off.
You can.
Well, I think all that depends. Here's my thing. Okay, so you got to understand that when you have your cigar band wrapped on your cigar at the factory, they use a goma, which is a natural vegetable type glue. Now, when you're smoking it and it gets to a certain part, the heat essentially heats up that goma as it's going from the foot through the head, or through the cap, if you will. So eventually it heats it up enough where you could just peel it off. For example, when mine got to there, I was able to peel it off with no issues at all, because it was just wrapped. The band was wrapped perfectly. There are some that they use too much goma and it seeps through onto the cigar wrapper. So it's hard to pull off, and when you finally do, it pulls off your wrapper.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what about let's see. We went into bands. How low to smoke it?
Has anybody tried the wet cigar method? I seen this a few months back, but I've never tried it.
I've never tried it, but I saw it.
Describe it. What is it?
I'll let Andrea, since this.
Well, I don't know much about it. I just know that it's wet.
So what it is before this has to happen before you cut the cap off. Period. Right. If you cut the cap off, it's ruined. Before you cut the cap off, you just take some people do it with like faucet water. Mm-hmm. Turn it on, and it rolls over the cigar. I don't know exactly how that helps. It's supposed to help with it canoeing. I've never tried it. I've been reluctant to try it.
Just so everybody knows, what canoeing is a crooked burn on your cigar, where one side of your cigar is burning down, or it's going down the center of your cigar, not burning the outside. Annoying as piss.
Yes.
It is, because you spend more time trying to get that shit corrected than you do enjoying your smoke. And it also does affect the flavor of your cigar.
And you end up losing like 20-30% of your cigar because you're like, oh, fuck, it's burned crooked. Do I light the other side? Do I cut and relight, etc.? And now usually I have found, not always, but usually it is not the construction of the cigar. It is how you're maintaining your humidor, which we're going to go into in a little bit here.
One of the things that will help you with canoeing is a proper toasting of the foot. Okay, part of the, and we didn't talk about this, but when you toast the foot, okay, and you're supposed to go in a circle, okay, and understand that's to get an even burn.
Right.
Okay, you're not at this point. You're not puffing on the cigar yet. Okay, but what you want to do is you want to get an even burn. Throughout the foot of the cigar, so that when it's done, you put it. That's when you put it up. And again, as you're lighting the cigar, you should be rotating it between your fingers. Again, to make sure that it's an even burn.
Now, when you're doing this, guys, yes, you can move your lighter around, but the bottom line is if you're not turning your cigar, you're not going to light the edges of that. Well, you're going to light the center, and you're going to kind of come off the top. Whereas you're going to light the bottom of the wrapper, but not the top of the wrapper. So when you rotate it...
You're lighting, turning, and you're rotating.
Right.
Oh my God, it's so fucking complicated all of a sudden.
Well, there's some people that don't even want to roast it before they light it.
Right, but now again, we're talking about those are the people that are going to have a problem with the canoeing or with an uneven burn.
And I have had uneven burns even after doing that.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, but now you're talking about what could be the construction of the cigar,
right?
Okay, because again, if the cigar is not rolled tight enough, you can get an uneven burn.
Or how you're humidifying your humidor, which, like I said, we'll go into a bit. But real quick, if you have your moisture, your whatever you're moisturizing your humidor with, and it's all focused on the bottom, then the underside is actually humidifying more than the top, which means if you don't roll your cigars every once in a while, you have one side. Or if you have a very full humidor, it's harder for the middle ones to get humidified. Or if you have a very lightly stocked humidor, which they say it's easier to keep a humidor properly humidified if it's full as opposed to if you have 5 or 10 sticks in there.
Right. My recommendation for keeping a humidor properly at the proper humidity, and I have a 300 count humidor. I probably have about 150 cigars in there.
Nice.
Is what they call a Bravita pack.
Movita packs.
Bravita packs. Okay. What I do is mine has 2 layers. I take 1 4-inch on the bottom, 1 4-inch on the top.
1 4-inch.
I have Bravita pack because they come in different sizes. Keep that in there, and then keep. I have a digital hydrometer to tell me the humidity inside the humidor. You want to keep it between 68 and 72, somewhere around in that area. If it gets too low, go ahead.
Marco, you and I were discussing this a week or two ago about there are some people that keep it even lower. Now, what Ronnie is saying is the standard. And absolutely it's a good rule of thumb. But Mark and I were discussing keeping humidors significantly lower, almost 60 to 65%. Marco, you want to tell more about that? Because
now, this is where I don't mean to come off as a snob when I say this. I truly don't.
You're about to.
But I'm about to. All right. Now, the up to 70 stuff works when you have a smaller than, let's say, 100 stock. Something you're going to burn through. Myself, I'm an avid collector. I have actually not even roughly, I could look on my phone and tell you exactly. I have about 3,500 cigars in my collection. So I don't have desktop stuff. I have custom-made cabinets that I built myself, that I converted. So to me, I can't smoke that many that fast. So what happens is I store mine between 60 to 63%, just because the higher moisture level you do, the more chance you have of the oils that you need seeping out. And then you have people say, "Oh, look at my cello is yellow." That I'm so excited, but in reality, that's all the oils that seeped out and absorbed into the plastic and basically stained the plastic cello. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but here's where it's important. When you're talking about the temperature or the humidity, okay, I have about 150. If I don't buy a cigar today, by December I'll be out. So that's what 1-2 a day between now and the rest of the month. If Marco doesn't buy a cigar today, he's still smoking for 7 years. No, before Marco,
you also have smaller humidors where you rotate things into that. That's at a higher humidity, 70% instead of 60.
But my point is that if you're going to maintain the stuff for longer, and again, Marco's a collector, so Marco will buy a box in today and leave it in his humidor for 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're talking about keeping stuff in a humidor for that long of a time, you want to bring it down a little more because you want to make sure that it lasts longer.
So it doesn't go stale, basically.
Right.
But even at that, I do have like a smaller desktop, which I try to plan what I'm going to smoke out for the week, for the month, whatever. But I'm really bad at it because sometimes I go based on my mood. I go based on my mood. But the highest I tend to go is 67. Nothing wrong with 70, but to me, I just prefer 67 percent humidity level on my cigars personally. But you're right. I mean, I am a collector, so I do have stuff that. I do have brand new boxes that have been sitting there for a couple years that
sure.
I'm not going to say I forget about because I know they're there, but I'm just like, holy shit, I haven't smoked this yet, But that's just how it is. That's kind of like the nature of the beast.
Let me ask you something. How often do you buy a cigar and smoke it within the first month?
I make it a point to never touch a cigar within 6 months of getting it.
Wow. There you go.
And my reason, it's not because I have a lot of them. A lot of people think, oh, it's because I have so much. I just know. My rationale is I get it. It goes into quarantine because I never know what factory it came from. Crown Heads about 2 years ago had a real bad tobacco beetle outbreak, and Crown Heads was one of my favorite brands at that moment. And I was like, holy shit, because all it takes is one of them little suckers to multiply. So I quarantine everything, and then I don't know how. I live in the desert, so it's 110 in the summer. So if something comes from, let's say, New York, where it's 80 degrees, and it takes a week to get here, it's the temperature, the humidity, it's dry down here. It's messed with it completely. So I get it to where I like it within my range of 70 degrees cool in the summer, or 7 degrees warm in the winter with 63% humidity. And like I said, I just let it mingle and chit chat with the other ones, get to know each other before I essentially smoke.
Okay, hold that thought. Let's flip into a song real quick and come back with the third hour. So we'll be right back and we'll pick this up. What do we got here? 51 Peg, Another Nothing. Be right back.
Well, I've had a good question, and I know he's still listening on Twitch. Rapper on, rapper off.
Rapper? Or,
you mean the
story?
You mean the cello? Okay,
yeah, plastic wrap.
I prefer on, and the reason why is because it's a micro environment within the micro environment. If that makes any sense, your humidor is a micro environment. It's not the same. You want it to be a certain temperature, a certain humidity than what it is everywhere else. But with the cello, it can still keep the humidity in or excess out. If, let's say, you leave a box out for a couple, you dry box it. It's what people call dry boxing. You take it out. You could still essentially have a really good cigar that tastes great like nothing if you leave it out for a week or two, depending on the exterior environment anyways. But me personally, I always leave them on just because it's a microenvironment within the microenvironment.
Here's another reason you want to leave them on. If you keep different cigars unwrapped in a humidor, over time, they will all develop the flavor of the strongest one.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you have a $7 cigar that's a full-bodied, overpowering cigar, and you have a couple $30, $40 cigars that are mild that are medium bodied, over time that full body flavor will infect those cigars. So you want to keep them separated. If you're gonna have, like in mine, if I have two different unwrapped cigars, like if you buy LaFleur you can buy unwrapped. If you buy Padron, you can get some of those unwrapped. I'll make sure that I put something with cellophane, with the cello on it, in between them to keep them from mixing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Just because you do. I mean, I agree, but at the same time, again, not to be a snob, I don't really worry about that because 90% of the stuff I buy is boxes anyways.
Right.
So I keep them within the boxes. Now that's another question that somebody could say is, well, do you keep them in the boxes cabinet, or do you take them out of the boxes and lay them out? I always say keep them in the boxes because it's an environment within the environment. It's as much control as you can.
Your box and then put it in your cabinet?
I open 100% of the box when I first get it. For the example of this happened to me one occasion, and I swore it would never happen to me again. I bought a box. I left it 100% closed. I didn't open it. I didn't do nothing. It stayed in the shrink wrap it was in. About 4 months later, I opened it, and there was mold all inside.
No, I mean, it was just mold and crystallized.
And plume.
Yeah, plume.
Yeah, big difference. And this was the obvious hairy green mold.
Yeah.
I contacted the company and said, "Hey, yo, I bought this. Here is the order number, blah blah blah, whatever." They said, "Well, 90 days has passed, so you can't return it." So that investment was just wasted. But if I would have opened, I don't know when it turned. I mean, that wasn't like it molded within 2 months. That was like a collection.
That started before you got it.
Yeah, that exactly. So now I make it a point to I open every box just for inspection. Once it passes inspection for mold, I still quarantine it for beetles. Let it get to where it needs to get. I inspect it again. It's good. No mold, no beetles. Then it goes with general population.
Well, when we come back, you really need to expound on the beetles.
25
because
seconds.
I think most people don't know about it, and there's nothing. Like for me, well, worse for you. You got 3,000 cigars at let's say $10 a pop. You got $30,000 worth of cigars. All you need is one beetle in there, and it's trash.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're coming back now. For folks on Twitch and YouTube, you guys have been along the whole time. But during the music break, for others of you listening on the stations like Radio Real and White Party, we started discussing storing cigars in the cellophane, out of the cellophane. It comes to a personal preference. There is a chance over long term out of cellophane, flavors bleed. You lose some of the strength from your strong ones, and your weak ones gain strength from the strong ones. In or out of the box, shrink wrapped or not, if you're storing whole boxes in a humidor, and that's where we are now. And again, that's a matter of personal taste, but we all seem to agree with open the shrink wrap, open that cigar box. Make sure if you're buying it by the box or the bundle, inspect those cigars. You want to look for plume, which is the white crystallized like sugar crystals. You might go, oh, that's mold. It's not. But if you do find mold, or worse, if you're buying large amounts, there is a chance of beetles. Now, this might sound odd, and you're not going to see it when you first get it, but you put them aside for a few months, and you can actually have beetle eggs hatch inside your cigars. It's very rare, but it happens. Mm-hmm. And Marco, do you want to go more on about that?
Yeah. Well, what it is pretty much 100% of the cigars you come in contact with has at one point or another had either more than likely beetle larvae on them. It's microscopic, you can't see them. But what the good manufacturers do is they'll freeze them after fermenting, and then or they'll freeze them after rolling, for so many days. Just pretty much as you freeze them, you guarantee that they freeze to death and they die. But some of them, sometimes you get some that rarely slip through the crack, and once you hit above. Some people, it's an ongoing discussion on is it once you get past 70, which is 70% humidity and 70 degrees, or 72, or 75. Anyway,
real quick, beetles, these are natural plants, guys. It's just like finding a bug in your escarole or your lettuce. It's gonna happen. This is nature. We live in a world where nature fucking exists. So don't go. These people are filthy people who have bugs.
No. This is natural.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal so long as you maintain your cigars properly. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's the importance of it. Those are the key words. If you're moving, don't put your cigars with the moving stuff. Besides the fact that you'll end up a few cigars short. Okay. Is that when you throw it in a box in a moving van that's traveling down the highway, there's a chance that the temperature is going to go up. There's a chance if you have a beetle, one beetle, that you will ruin everything that's within that humidor. One beetle will ruin your stuff. And like we were talking during the song break, In Marco's case, 3,000 cigars at an average of $10 a piece. You're talking about $30,000 worth of cigars that are ruined.
Real quick, want to say hello to Instant Replay Live, who's popped in on Twitch. It's one of our, I don't know, I want to call it one of our brother or sister channels there.
What's up?
Anyhow, just saying hi to them. Okay. Go on, guys.
So, Marco, do you have a separate humidor just for the quarantine?
Yes, it's a Tupperware, and what it is just a rigged Tupperware that has. I actually, if it doesn't have even if it has a proper seal, I still put the extra effort because it's a monetary investment as well. I get weather stripping that I put around the edge in the inside of the lip that when it compresses, it's airtight. I also put Velveeta packs, so that has that in there.
Now, for listeners or viewers, so you guys know, you can do this with Tupperware, you could do it with coolers, you could do it with any number of things.
Yeah.
And again, this is when you're past 1 or 2 or 3 humidors. This is when you're like, oh, I'm going to stockpile, I'm going to build up because I can afford to do this sort of thing.
Well, you don't even have to get a humidor. Mm-hmm. Humidors are cool looking. But Jerry's a great example. Travis and my buddy Jerry, he started with Tupperware because he couldn't afford a really nice humidor, but he was getting all of these cigars. So understand that you don't have to go out and buy a $75, $150
and they
humidor.
Actually, a lot of times have a better seal than a humidor.
Yeah. I have 3 cabinets, and they're all converted that I converted myself. But before then, at one point, I had like 7 30-gallon Tupperware just stacked because I was like, you know what? And then finally, I decided, I need to quit buying for a while and figure out long-term better storage. Not better storage, but aesthetically pleasing. Instead of just saying, "Hey, you want to smoke? Let me move this shit around." So I go ahead.
I would say after a while, when you're collecting, it's like anything else you collect. You want to display them. You want to show, and display them nicely. I have a friend of mine. He takes everything. He buys the Padron 80 years. These are $35 cigars. He buys them by the box, and he likes to take them out. He's got a nice little humidor, one of the ones you plug in. So it's really, really nice. But he likes to pull out the tray because he likes to look at all of those 80 years out of,
By the way,
laid out.
80 years doesn't mean they've been aged 80 years.
No, it's the blend.
It's the blend.
There we go.
It's the blend. It was a Padron anniversary, and the blend itself was on the 80th anniversary of Padron.
Because here's something else: pipe tobacco, you can keep for a decade and it will age nicely as long as it's kept pretty much airtight and humidified reasonably. Cigars, on the other hand, and we can debate on this one, guys. After 5 years or so, especially if they're not kept well, they're going to start to break down and decompose because they're fucking leaves. So,
but the key word you said, or the key words, was
properly
kept well.
Right.
Kept well, kept properly. Because like anything, hell, you can have a $200,000 Ferrari outside your front yard, and it looks beautiful. But if you don't take care of it, and the sun beats on it every day,
right.
The weather, the rain, the hail, it's gonna look like shit.
Also, your flavors will change, whether it's pipe tobacco or cigars. Things mellow, the flavors blend. I have some crap-ass cigars called Scoundrels, but I've had them for like 3 or 4 years now, and the flavor has changed, which they're still not a great cigar, but they're not as nasty as they were when I first got them.
Again, going back to what I said earlier, cigars are like wine, and they will age to a certain point. Mm-hmm. A good indicator of when the cigar is ready for smoking is when you get that plume. When you get that plume on it, that means that it is ripe. Pull it out and smoke it right then and there. But understand, if you keep it past a certain point, the cigar will start to lose its flavor. It'll get lighter. It'll become more mild. So if you get a full body cigar, 10 years, if you hold on to it, it might be medium body now. If you get a medium body,
it will be blended so well.
Well, again, that depends on the cigar. But they should be.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about etiquette. Because Marco, here you go, all these cigars. Ronnie, a good amount. Guys, if you're new to smoking cigars, don't hesitate to ask and admire somebody's collection, whether you see it directly or just hear about it. But do not go, can you give me some of those? Unless they're a buddy. Then it's a different world. But there is a certain amount of etiquette when approaching somebody, because heaven knows we all love to share our cigars.
Yeah, and see, my thing personally is I have an actual rule in my lounge, and I call it my lounge, that anybody who comes over, it's a buffet. They can have whatever they want if they smoke it there. Now, it's not a to-go thing where you can stack up 30, 40 and say, okay, I'm on my way.
Hold on, I will checking airplane flights right now. Come on.
I will send you home with cigars. I've done that many times where people came from out of town. I'm like, here, dude, take 10, 15. They're like, holy shit. I'm like, dude, 10, 15 isn't going to do a damn dent in my stock, period. Right. But, and you, hey, what about this, dude? Smoke it. You want it? Cool. I'm not going to be greedy like that because I have more than enough to last. But if somebody comes up with the whole intention of, hey, dude, let me have that one, and only pick, it's like, dude, come on, man. I mean, I'm okay with giving you some, but, just kind of mix it up. Don't only take, the $40, the $30 opuses or, which, by the way, I don't have opuses because I don't personally like their flavor. They're too mild. It's not full bodied. I just don't like them personally. But, again, the etiquette to me is, if you come over, I'll give you cigars. We'll smoke together. You can smoke back to back to back if you want. You can smoke 10 in a day in front of me. I don't care. I'll let you.
Something else to remember is don't, just because, Marco, you got 1,000 cigars. Ronnie, you got hundreds. I've got a dozen. Don't hesitate to take that dozen and attempt to share them with these guys. Because, yeah, Ronnie.
Well, finish your statement.
Yeah, the point is, you might have something they haven't tried, or you might have something that they used to love to smoke. And it's all about the community at that point in time, and share and share alike.
That's exactly what it's about. Like I said earlier, part of what we call it the brotherhood of the leaf, and part of that is that you want to share. So it's not uncommon for somebody to only have 2 or 3 cigars and someone comes in and they will share one. It doesn't mean go to a cigar shop without any cigars thinking someone's going to give it to you.
Right.
That's also etiquette. That's also part of etiquette. But part of the joy of smoking is to turn around and go, hey, have you tried? Hey,
I kid you not. This is what I take with me when I travel. It is filled.
I believe
it is filled. But my thing is, I share. We go somewhere. Somebody, hey, dude, boom, here. You want? I like you, or you're pretty cool. I'll give you what. I really like you. You're fucking awesome. Here's 5. And it varies in between.
But it's not also just I'm not going to give you the shitty cigars. Okay.
Exactly.
If we're friends, okay, and I'm trying, like right now, I'm trying. Well, earlier, I had 2 of that cigar, the Matita. If Marco was here, or if you were here, Travis, I would have handed you the other one.
Sure.
Knowing that you haven't tried it, for you guys to try it. Now, Ed is not a cigar smoker, as far as I know, so I wouldn't have given him that one. You're a cigar smoker?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then, in that case, I would have given you that one. But if you're not a cigar smoker, or if you're new to it, I probably wouldn't have given you that one.
Yeah, for new guys, you want to aim.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, you aim for the medium or the milds for the first time or two. Let them see what they like.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, but you gotta like. I have a funny anecdote, right? There's this buddy that I have named Robert, right? And we joke about him a lot here around these areas. He's probably in his late 40s. He always talks about, oh, yeah, I smoked cigars when I was 18 and blah, blah. And he's one of those, oh, you have to inhale to enjoy it. And I'm like, fuck no, dude. A black lung. What the hell are you talking about? Anyways, so I've given him a nice, Monte Cristo Medianoche, right? And those are great cigars. And he'll inhale it, and he'll take like 3 minutes of it and smash it out like a cigarette. That was a shitty cigar. Why would you do that? And I'm like, oh, my heart. I feel like the Jeffersons.
Like you just slapped your kid.
Yeah, but then I've given him like a cheap $3 machine-made cigar, and he's like, "Oh, this is quality." And I'm like, okay, for somebody who's in his 40s, who said he's been smoking since he's 18, I'd question that. So what I actually did is I got some cheaper boxes that I keep with the regular boxes. And when he comes over, I'm like, here's your stock, bro. All day, every day. Here's what you got. I got these specially for you because you like that. He doesn't know the difference between whether or not it's machine made. He's just, oh, this is great. I'm like, cool. As long as you enjoy it.
Here's something else. For your peace of mind, if you hand a cigar to somebody, whether you know them or not, and they smoke 3 puffs and put it out, remember, you gave them that cigar to enjoy. If they enjoyed 3 puffs and don't want any more, they smoked the whole cigar in your head. Leave it at that. That way you don't get upset and cranky.
I don't get cranky, but I did call him out on it. I'm like, dude,
No, that sounds like a different situation than, I have a buddy that goes, I like cigars, but he's used to Swisher Sweets.
Here's what that comes down to. That comes down to you as the person giving the cigar. Okay? At this point, I didn't know Marco before today, but if Marco was here and he didn't try the Padron 90 year, let's say, okay, and again, that's the 90th anniversary.
Right.
Okay, that's a $20 to $25 cigar. I would have no problem handing it to him.
Right.
Because I know that he could enjoy it, and his experience with the cigar will be one of a person who is experienced. Would I give that cigar to a person who's been smoking 3 months? No, because they still haven't even developed a palate yet.
Right. Now, let's jump into a song and come back here. We got alcohol, sex, and cigarettes. We'll be back. So we got about 3-4 minutes, something like that.
I'm surprised that you have not played Joe Walsh's I Like Big Tits.
I don't have it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I love that song.
There's a kind of a parody song by a comedian named Jonathan Finn, and Finn is like the French end Finn, Fin, and it's called the Titty Song. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
No, I haven't. It's you're lucky I didn't play I'm in Love with the Stripper.
I figured you would have, or at least, or even Chris Rock's "No Sex in the Champagne Room."
Yeah.
No matter what a stripper says, there's no sex in the champagne room.
When we come back, we can talk a little bit more about etiquette, or we can go into brands and cigar lounges and where to buy cigars, discount stores, online retailers, etc. We could warn people about the discount stores that sell more cigarettes than cigars. Let them know you can find some stuff, but don't. You're better off ordering.
Not really.
It's as hard as a rock. It's dry as shit, and just been sitting there for how long?
Yeah, or I've been in some where they have a decent sized room, a walk-in humidor, but they got
they don't maintain
one humidifier on one side, which means all these cigars are wet and all these are dry. But we could also
no ventilation.
About, Thompson's and CI and.
I've ordered from CI.
I order a lot from CI just because they carry a bunch of good stuff. I prefer, if we're going to do online, I prefer Atlantic Cigar. Just because Atlantic Cigar is really good. They carry a lot of stuff a lot of more boutique, I guess, that CI won't carry.
Mm-hmm.
But I went ahead and I was actually one of the last ones that got grandfathered into VIP because you used to just sign up years ago and get a VIP discount. But now you got to pay like $100 a year to do it.
Ooh.
But you could buy certain like 80% of their stock you can buy at wholesale.
Oh,
so you could buy, so when like the Chief Cool Arrow, but we know what it means. Us Latins know what Chief Cool Arrow is. When they first came out, they were like $270 a box. I got it for like $190.
Wow.
Because it was VIP. So, but then again. My palate has gone from I started out with your big name brands, your Romeos, your Monte Cristos, whatever. Then I went to boutique, and now I'm kind of going towards European market only, which is a lot of stuff almost the same brand you can get here in the U.S., but because of copywritten reasons, you can't use the word La Gloria Dominicana because the Cuban market is over there in Europe too. So they changed it to El Credito, and then so you can't get stuff like that. But it's almost the same cigar, but it's a minor tweak for the European market.
Right.
So I'm kind of on that ride right now. Like Wanderlust. Have you tried Wanderlust from Romacraft?
15 seconds.
You can only get it in Germany. They won't even ship it outside of Germany. You have to have somebody who's in Germany who can go to Germany to get it and ship it to you from there. But there's only like 2 places in Germany that you can get them from, and they won't ship it outside of Germany.
Okay.
They're amazing cigars.
We're back. For any of you that aren't on Twitch or YouTube right now, we're discussing where to get cigars because we want to help you guys out and talk about where to buy cigars. This could be the 3 main places is online retailers, cigar lounges or cigar stores, and then there's the discount stores that have more cigarettes than cigars. And
or hookah.
We also want to discuss, for some of you guys that are on a budget, like really everybody in the world is, where to get decent cigars that aren't going to break your budget. So who wants to start with something? Who's got some shit to throw out?
I'll talk real quick about a lounge.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, part of smoking a cigar is the experience.
Yeah.
And where you can really maximize this experience is if you go to a local lounge, brick and mortar cigar lounge. You're gonna find a cast of characters there. The regulars. Travis, you know, if you go to Hogshead, the people who are there, and they're all walks of life. If you really want to, if you want to network, okay, there are 2 things that you need to learn how to do if you want to network. Number 1 is play golf. And number 2 is smoke cigars. Because when you walk into a lounge and you'll see guys dressed in all kinds of ways, but we're talking doctors, lawyers, politicians, presidents of universities, marshals, everything. And you'll never know who's who because everybody's sitting there, they're busting chops. It's an atmosphere unlike any other.
Yeah.
So I can't push a lounge enough.
And to add this, now we're talking about the lounge is a great place, but if we start talking about price, just to be fair warning, you're gonna pay a premium at a lounge. You're gonna pay more than what it's worth.
Of course.
But you're not paying for the cigar. You're paying for the experience. You're paying for the conversation.
Also,
you're paying for the hey, how you doing?
With lounges, yes, you can bring your own cigars, but most lounges have a thing that if you're not going to buy something there, they're going to charge you a flat fee. It's called a cigar cutting fee. And this is basically because lounges, they don't want to do this, but they find most, people that come in and just hang out, sit in their chairs, watch their TVs, and never spend a dime because they're busy buying in bulk online. You're screwing them. They're not making the money they need to keep the doors open. So they'll charge you the price of a decent cigar just to hang out.
Unless you're a member. Unless they have like a membership due. But most cigar lounges, what they'll do is, like I said, y'all saw what I carry with me. That goes with me when I hit the road. Yes, I take it in and they look at me, but I also tell them I'm gonna buy 10 to 15 sticks or more or a box here as well. So what's a trade-off? Are they willing to let me bring my shit in, but knowing they're gonna get a couple hundred off me, or are they just gonna be total Nazis and no, you can't bring shit in, period, even if you buy anything off me. But like I said, most lounges are pretty cool about that. There are places where they call cigar bars, which is they're not really a lounge; it's more of a bar. But they have an actual. You don't get to see the cigars, but they have an actual, list of cigars.
Right?
Have a menu, and they bring it to you. Those are pretty cool places again. But like I said, you're gonna pay $4 or $5 more per cigar than what it's worth, but you're paying for the experience. You're not paying for the cigar.
It's like a regular bar. When you walk into
a bar, right,
and you order a drink and you're paying $7 to $12 for a straight scotch or a martini, you're not paying just for the alcohol. You're paying for the atmosphere and keeping their doors open.
And it's exactly the same thing. But again,
some people get it twisted though. Some people think, oh well, hell, it's too expensive. Okay, well, are you going just to go buy and then leave, or are you going to buy and stay and smoke?
Right.
That's where it comes into play of what you're doing.
Right.
You know what?
Now,
go ahead, Ronnie.
one of the things that you want to do is you want to get that proper mix of buying online and buying at a shop.
There we go.
Okay, because some of the great deals, so you get some great deals, especially if you're a regular or a VIP, as Marco is, and I buy from Cigar International online. That's the only place where I can find the G2, the Great Cliff 2.
Oh, dude, those are amazing smokes. I love them.
Right.
I got the Maduro, the Habano, and the regular.
By the way, let's do this real quick for everybody listening or watching. Cigar International. If you just Google that name, you'll find them. Or Cigars, plural, intl.com. Another good one is Thompson's, which we can argue about the quality or whatever, but bottom line is if you know what you're shopping for and you're going to let your cigars rest once you get them, ThompsonCigar.com is a good place. What's the other one with the smiley face, with the cigar and the stubble?
There's one JR's.
JR's, yeah, pretty good. I prefer Atlantic Cigar. That's just because they do more of the boutique stuff than your traditional name brand, if you will.
Now, explain the boutique cigar.
Okay, now it's gotten so messed up that even boutique cigar makers don't even know if they're boutique anymore. But because like to me, Roma Craft is a boutique cigar. It's kind of only available in certain areas, small quantities.
Boutique cigars started out as equivalent to a craft beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now, things have grown.
Yeah, and now you even have things like Uber Boutique. For example, I'm a huge Ezra Zion fan. They come out once a month with like 300 cigars made, and that's it. Once they're gone forever. So you got to be like quick on the button to get them. So that's like the Uber Boutique. Then you have your boutique stuff, which is a lot of stuff that not a lot of people know about, and you got it. They got their following from word of mouth, basically saying, "Hey, have you tried this? No, I haven't. Can you find it here? No, I can't. Well, shit, they're only found here. Let me send you one." Then, you kind of develop your following. Then you have your mainstream, which is the name brands that everybody knows. Your Cohibas, your Monte Cristos, your Romeos, stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Romeo and Julietas.
Yeah. That's your mainstream stuff. But, I think some people evolve differently. Some people evolve backward, some forward. There's no really such thing as backward or forward.
Here's a story. There was one time I was at a pirate festival, dressed as a pirate from the 1800s, and I walked into a cigar store in downtown Alexandria. This goes back to etiquette, guys. This is if you're working in a cigar store. I walked in and I said, "I want a Pirate's Gold cigar. You carry those?" And the guy looked at me, he says, "No, we only carry real cigars here." Now, this was a Rolando Reyes cigar. And the other guy who worked there, stepped between me and the other guy and went, "I'll take care of this customer." Because it was a real fucking cigar, and yeah. So, if you're working at a cigar store, keep in mind, don't be a snob. Realize you're going to get every type, and if somebody comes in and asks for Swisher Sweets, don't snub them. Turn around and go, "No, we don't carry those, but we have other things. Let's talk."
You have everybody has to start somewhere,
right?
And not just that, but even well-known brands. It's a politic that happens within the industry where a certain lounge might only be an authorized dealer for certain things.
Right.
So if you go in and say, "Hey, for example, I went into I don't have an actual brick and mortar within 120 miles. So I have to travel.
So you got no choice, right?
Yeah, a bulk of my stuff, 90% of my stuff comes from online. But when I do go out, when I do travel, I get some. I went in and said, "Hey, do you have the new Viaje candy canes in?" This was 2 years ago. They looked at me and said, "Never heard of it." Bullshit. I know you've heard of it because your competitor a mile down the street carries them. I found that out later that afternoon. But again, it's the politics. They don't want you. They want to say they've never heard of it to make you feel like shit, so you can essentially buy something they have there. Right. And that's something that goes on.
My knee-jerk reaction is fuck that store.
And I stopped going to that store just for that reason, because I'm like, at least you could do is be honest. Say, you know what? We don't carry those, but we have this, which is, a similar blend. You might like it. What do you like? They want to get to know you.
If you've never heard of it, go, well, describe the cigar to me. Is it full body? Yeah. What are you looking for? And let me suggest something else for you might like.
Yeah.
And that also tells you about the people who are working there and their knowledge of cigars. At Hogshead, we have a guy named Bob. Okay, a great guy. And let me tell you, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who knows more about cigars than he does. You walk in, and the first thing he asks, "What do you normally smoke?" Yeah. Okay, so that he can start to formulate the kind of flavors that you like, the kind of filler, the kind of binder, the kind of wrapper, and then he'll take you to the back, and he'll pull out 4 or 5 cigars that are similar to that.
Right.
And again, he recommends, once he gets to know your palate, you walk in there and he's just like, bam, here you go. What are you in the mood for?
He'll remember better than you do.
Real quick, chances are this guy, Bob, right? That's the name?
Yeah.
Bob? Chances are Bob is a certified tobacconist. Now, you actually can go to a school that you do. Of course, you do an internship in a brick and mortar. You take online classes to become a certified tobacconist, to have that understanding. A lot of other places are hire like college kids that need, they don't want to have full-time employees, so they have part-time people, so they don't have, whatever taxes, blah, 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 bullshit. But when you find a true tobacconist, a certified tobacconist, you can tell, because they'll say, oh, you know what? We don't carry that, but check these blends out. This is comparable to this. This is compared to this. Yeah, that's what you want. That's the experience you get at a true lounge, at a great lounge. But there's not a lot of people like that, because a lot of people are just like all about shoving their product down your throat. Right. And especially house blends. You get a lot of places where, oh no, house blend is better. House blend is better. Because there's more money to be made in the house blend than there is of anything else. But, for example, one of my favorite brands, which Travis knows, is Foundry. A lot of people have never heard of Foundry. Foundry is a great company. They don't have full strength cigars. They're more mild medium, but they're full bodied.
They are.
Now, the reason that I love Foundry is because the dude, Michael Giannini, he sold the company. He's out of cigars, but he's a fucking weirdo. But I love that. He has a line called the Alien line, which is what he would envision tobacco being grown 1,000 years in the future on Mars would be like.
He also has a full steampunk line for a lot of.
Yeah, he has a full steampunk line. I mean, the dude even carries around sketches with him that, you know what, if I were to have a tobacco farm on Mars, I mean, dude is out there. But the dude does great shit. He does. Actually, if you've smoked any new La Gloria Cubanas within the last 4 years, that was Michael Giannini, because he took that brand when he sold his company to Cigar General Cigars. They gave him La Gloria Cubana and said, "Hey, this product is doing shit for us. It's costing money. Revamp it," and they're great cigars now.
Now, real quick, Ed, I know you've been quiet most of this show. I know you enjoy a cigar, but you're not necessarily an enthusiast. You got any questions?
Yeah.
Okay. And we got a couple minutes, and we're going to go into a song. And when we come back to wrap up the show, I would like to talk about creating our own Talk of the Tavern brand. Just a goof. Nothing serious. And by the way, anybody who wants your own cigar, you can actually contact cigar people and go, I want my own cigar. They will take a standard cigar off their shelf and create a band for you and send it to you, and it's your damn cigar. But it's the same blend you get in something else. So
you could go above that and actually find a blender that will actually custom blend something for you, and it will be your own personal blend.
There you go.
The reason I know that is because this is kind of a hush-hush deal, but there is some talks of a Fat Boy cigar in the making that, if we can get, we're talking to a couple blenders, and if we can get the right one, hey.
That's got to be a 60+ ring gauge.
No, actually
it's not a Fat Boy if it ain't 60+.
No, we're actually discussing possibly not. Sometimes you get people that can pick out those notes, say this is nutmeg, this is this. We're trying to get it more where you can say, hey, this is a meaty cigar. Sorry, I'll let you.
No, you're good, man.
A word from our sponsors.
Real quick before we go into this song, Ian just has no talk on snubbing out a cigar versus letting it go out on it.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
After the song.
After the song? Okay, let's go into a song right now. Screw it all. Here's Victor and the Bully, which is a great steampunk band, by the way. Awesome guys.
They're nice. They're fun.
They are sweethearts, straight out of the UK. Here's Into the Fire. We'll be right back. Now, We can talk about the snubbing of cigar while the song is playing if you guys want, because Ian's listening on Twitch also. So
that's an important thing.
Real quick before we get onto that, Andrea, I know you're talking about bacon. We actually toyed around with infused. No, seriously, infusing bacon with whiskey. Came out really good. Now we're working on infusing that bacon whiskey with the cigar to give it that meaty type of.
Do you have any of this bacon whiskey?
I do not have any more left because we drank it all.
So how do you get more?
Well, you infuse more bacon.
We made it. What we did was we got however much you need, about a quarter of a cup of bacon grease. Well, you cook the bacon. You get the drippings. You put it on there. You get whatever whiskey you want. You pour it in there. You shake it. You leave it there for about a day or two to infuse right. Then you put it in the fridge to let it chill and let the molecules kind of blend together. For that part is up to you. They say 2 to 8 weeks. We did it for about 2 months just because we really wanted a meaty type flavor to it, and it came out pretty good.
See, I'm of course sick and tired.
You gotta essentially filter out the bacon that's left, the grease that's in there. So you drain that out. You filter it where it gets clear again, but it leaves that flavor in there. That came out really good. You could do that with all kinds of stuff.
I'm tired of bacon and everything, but actually, if it's subtle and done well, that doesn't sound horrible.
Maybe we should try that and have it. It'll be ready by Christmas.
See, and that's what
we can drink that on the show.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Linda, my wife, behind me, we have stuff that she's experimented with. We got cigars, that I got in bulk. And she infused Malibu pineapple, and they taste really good.
We need to talk about infused cigars too, by the way.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Infused cigars.
Malibu coconut, tequila, and raspberry, and
in a cigar.
Yes. Yeah, we need to talk real quick. We need to talk about infused cigars also, but let's talk real quick about snubbing out a cigar. Yeah. Okay.
You want to start or you want me to start? Oh, there we go.
Just don't do it.
Well, okay. That takes all the fun out of that topic. All right, let's move on.
Roddy had a 20-minute soapbox prepared.
You know me. I've always got a 20-minute soapbox ready. It is bad etiquette to put out a cigar like it was a cigarette.
Why?
Because
it leaves a bad aroma in the
there
room.
You go.
It's unpleasant. It's really nasty.
It's dirty.
Let it go out on its own. No harm, no foul.
Like ash instead of cigar.
Right. Yeah.
It smells like ass.
When you talk about that dirty cigar smell that people who don't smoke talk about, that's the smell.
And it's taking a cigar. The Cancer Kid who just stopped in Twitch there. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the cigar chat, Cancer Kid.
But you don't take a cigar and you don't crush it out. When you're done with it, at whatever point you lay it down, a cigar will naturally go out by itself.
It will,
and that's where you leave it at.
Yeah. Now, if you are outside at home alone and you got to get the hell in the house and you want to stub out your cigar, do what you want to do, man. But in general, in a public arena, let it go out naturally. You're like, well, it's putting smoke everywhere. You know what? You're in a fucking cigar joint.
It's gonna die. It's gonna die itself, and you actually will put out more smoke as you sit there and rub that thing out trying to turn it off.
Okay, and we're coming back now. 5 seconds here. Okay, and
we're back. Yeah.
We're back, and what were we going to talk about now here for the last?
Infused cigars, and what I want to ask.
Yeah, you got to talk about infused cigars.
I want to ask is if you have infused cigars, Marco, do you keep them with your other ones?
No. Now, see, before we get to infused cigars, we got to figure. You got to realize there's two things. There's infused cigars and flavored cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which
flavored
is the wrapper is flavored, as opposed to the tobacco, which is infused. Go on, Marco.
Yes.
You know more than I do on this.
So what we do is we have them separate. Period. Like 100% quarantined in its own
humidor,
and even that. We don't put all the infused together. Each infused one has its own humidor, period. Because what happens is within the Spanish cedar wood, it takes on that flavor. So if you do, let's say, cherry vanilla, you make your own, you do your own infused cherry vanilla stuff, or you buy it, whatever, it stays in there permanently, pretty much. So if you put something else in there, let's say you put chocolate banana.
If you go buy 1 or 2 coffee-flavored espresso cigars and you slap them in your humidor for 2 weeks, it is not going to taint every cigar that ever goes in there. Calm down.
No.
But if you're going to buy the box and you've got a 300-count humidor, you don't want to keep 50 flavored cigars in there next to your regulars.
No.
I keep all my coffee ones in a separate one from my non-coffee ones anyway, just because it'll take it on.
Yeah, you start mixing and not mixing and matching, but you start each flavor starts kind of picking a little bit from, or each cigar starts picking a little bit from here and there. Well, and then after a while, every cigar tastes the same because they've all absorbed everything.
Now understand that when we're talking about infusing a cigar, what you're talking about is taking the leaf itself and putting it in a closed environment with whatever that you're infusing it with, so that eventually the leaf picks up the flavor, which is completely different than slapping dipping a leaf in cherry juice and thinking that you're gonna get cherry.
There you go. That's a great way to keep it.
Bacardi grapefruit. This is a little thing that, see, I got to press the button to release the air.
We've got those.
No, I pushed the wrong button. Anyways, but you open it and you could smell it. You could say, okay, that's what it is. But again, then you put it in, you close it, press it, make it airtight, and it absorbs. It eventually absorbs the whatever flavor or whatever liquid you're trying to infuse it with.
So, we good on infused? Should we talk about creating our own Talk of the Tavern brand now?
I think we should do that.
I have a few.
I don't know how I don't know how you infuse shame and disappointment into a cigar.
Well, I was actually going to say, you need to infuse it with some lactating breast milk.
Wait.
Oh,
now you got me. Now you got me.
Creamy yet sweet.
You get that creamy and sweet. That's where you go.
At first, you had my curiosity.
Unless it's Mexican breast milk, then it's a little spicy. Is that cayenne?
but yeah. So like I said, with infused stuff, I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, anything infused in flavor is the devil's asshole. You don't touch it." It's up to your individual stuff. I've had some flavored stuff and infused stuff that I think is just fucking gross. But I've had some where I'm like, you know what? I barely get the notes of what they're infusing, but that's good because anything else would be pretty much just spritzing with the flavor, dunking it in the flavor, and there you go.
See,
that's just me personally.
Andrea liking the coffee, espresso, cappuccino flavors. Nub puts out a great espresso and cappuccino line.
Those.
They're great, and we've had others, and I can't even remember the brand. And they're just overly sweet and sugary and... What's that?
CAO?
No, it's...
No, it wasn't them.
Is it Isla del Sol?
It might be.
Isla del Sol. That's not... Right, Drew Straighten. That's not infused.
It's flavored tip.
Right. The tip is actually flavored with sugar cane.
I
thought it's infused forever with sugar cane.
Yeah, I don't like those.
We got 3 or 4 left, but they've taken forever to go through. You know what I'm talking about? Like my humidor is low, and there's a few of hers in there. That's them, and she doesn't want to smoke them because they don't taste like coffee. They taste like sugar.
CAO was pretty good. They have one called and I hate coffee. Like I don't.
So do I. Oh, you and I are probably the only 2 Spanish guys in the world.
Right? Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" Okay, but yeah, but. CAO does some pretty good stuff. They got one that Linda loves called the Caramello Joe, which is like a caramel coffee type infused stuff. Mm-hmm. The only one of it used to be the Nub Cafe brand, but they had to rebrand it. They had to rebrand it because of the FDA rulings. So now it's called the Nuance. The Nub Nuance line, which is the same shit, but it's just repackaged. They have another one which is called like the chocolate mint, which they're doing like for the winter blend. But the only one that I've seemed to like was the macchiato, but I drank that with hot cocoa because I'll drink the shit out of hot cocoa. The milk, but
Also, I believe it's Rocky Patel puts out the Java, or is that
Javas are okay.
It's both.
I like the Java.
Rocky Patel and Drew Estate. It's
and
like
Drew
a joint,
Estate, right?
Yeah,
right. And they'll put out the Java, which again, I'm not a coffee drinker and I don't like infused cigars, but for some reason, people who like the coffee flavored, they gravitate to that Java.
Andrea really likes the Tatiana Groovy Blue is one she really enjoys.
Linda loves that.
Oh, and they smell so good.
They do have a great ring note.
Yeah. Another one that I think is pretty good is if you're into Grey Cliff, it's a purple band. Let me remember real quick. But the thing about Grey Cliff, now since we're talking about Grey Cliff, I know we talked about budget cigars at one point, or we wanted to touch on budget cigars.
Right.
The G2 is a really good budget cigar.
Such a solid smoke.
It is. I would smoke that all. I mean, that's a go-to smoke, period. But the thing about Grey Cliff is Grey Cliff, the G2 is made in Panama with a lot of Panamanian blends. So they leased their name Grey Cliff to Cigars International. So same thing with Gurkha. Gurkha did that shit with Cigars International. But a true Grey Cliff is a Bohemian in Nassau, Bahamas rolled cigar. Those you won't find anywhere cheaper than like $15 a piece. But the G2s, the Panamanian ones, are great smokes. They're still good. They carry the name Grey Cliff, although they're licensed out. But the G2, Habano, Maduro, and the regular yellow band one are all great smokes.
And you can get those on sale a lot of times. You get a box of those for like $80.
Yeah, no, you can find them for $40 on CBID if you go.
Now,
Cigar.
When it comes to cheap cigars, inexpensive cigars, I should say, I reached out recently going, hey, budget is tight. What can I get? A few recommendations were Chill and Moose, which they have a mild and a medium, which they are actually pretty decent cigars. Rosa Cuba were suggested. You guys got any opinions on this one? You know this?
I've heard of it, but I've never smoked it. Now, the Chill and Moose and Chill and Moose 2 are pretty good.
Now, when you're talking about inexpensive cigars, what do you talk about price-wise?
Generally, if we can hit this low, which it's hard to do, $1 to $2 a stick. Now, I know Peacefields run 2 to 4 a stick, and they're pretty damn good.
If you want to get cigars that cheap, the best thing, or that inexpensive, best thing to do is buy them in bulk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then, again, I when I shop online, I shop Cigar International, and they'll lay it out to you. You buy this cigar, you're paying $2, a stick. Buy this, but again, you're shelling out $100 when you do it.
Right. Which it's worth it when you do that.
But it comes to the whole thing of, do you want $100 worth of $2 sticks, or do you want $100 worth of $10 sticks? Right. So either way, you're going to pay the $100. But do you want it to last longer, or do you want that name brand?
I will warn people, if you go to Cigars International or whatever online and you go, oh, we've got these seconds that are just like this cigar, and it's a name brand that you like, don't believe them. It does not taste like that fucking cigar.
Oh, have you bought them?
Yes.
I've never bought the seconds. I've thought about it.
And the funny thing about the seconds is they actually are from that line, but they're fuck ups where somebody fucked up somewhere down the line, whether it be the wrapper, the binder, or even the filler. They got the formula wrong,
right?
And they're just like.
Right. If you're these are supposed to taste like, Gloria Cabana Cigar. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Don't believe them.
But one thing again, real quick, when we're throwing out a lot of words. Again, remember, it's all about your palate.
Yes.
There's no such thing as an inexpensive or an expensive cigar when it comes to your palate. It's only what you enjoy.
When you see YMMV, your mileage may vary. That's all about your palate. What you enjoy, I might not, and vice versa. So you do get to experiment, and maybe you'll come back on, Travis, I totally love this, and you said it was crap, and I'd be like, good for you, man. I'm glad you liked it.
Right. There's a cigar out, just came out, I don't know, about a month ago. The H. Upman by AJ Fernandez. Mm-hmm. It's got it's got a teal a teal wrapper on it.
Sounds pretty.
Teal label. And let me tell you, $7.75 to $8.15 is what you're going to pay for it. That's not overly expensive for a cigar, but you will not, to me personally, you will not find a better bang for your buck. Let me hit on this real quick. Delicious.
Your average cigar, guys, if you walk into a store and go, I want one stick, you're going to pay $8 to $12 for your average cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you go, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you that you'd pay that? Think about if you go into Outback Steakhouse and get a drink. You're paying $8 to $12 for a drink, or $5 for the bargain drink. And that drink is going to last you how long versus a cigar, which is going to last you 45 minutes to possibly an hour and a half or longer, depending on the cigar.
Right.
But it comes down to lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's not something, that's just bottom line. Real quick to hit on the stuff with AJ. AJ is a great blender. He's a magician. Yeah, however, if you like the regular H. Upmans, and you're like, oh, AJ touched it. Keep in mind, AJ is kind of being hired out. He's being pimped out, basically, to take a lot of brands that are failing and revamp them. So it's not like you're going to, if you say, oh, I love H. Upmans, I'm going to get this. It's not the same H. Upman as you've always had. Right. It's a totally revamped deal. He's done that with a lot of brands. I always forget how to pronunciate this, but I always say Gispert or Gispert, whatever. Gispert. It's like a French Gispert. It's with like a maroon band that covers the whole cigar. You can find the Gisperts, the older ones before AJ, for like $20 clearance online. But the new one that AJ came out with was like $120 for a box. But the difference is that brand was failing so bad, they're trying to get rid of everything so they can revamp the line. So again, don't assume that, oh, this is the same thing. That even though I've loved H. Upmans, this is the same H. Upman. Yes, it is still an H. Upman, but it's not the same H. Upman as you loved in the past.
Right.
It's revamped. It's a whole different ballgame. Yeah.
And going right along there, Camacho is another example. Yeah. Christian Arroyo, who did the original Camacho blend that everybody loved, he left the company. He started now the Arroyo. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Which has the CLE brand.
Yeah.
And it's got
he also has Iorio.
It's his last name. The Aurora. Yeah. The Aurora 20 year is oh my God, that's a great stick.
Okay, but we got 3 minutes left. I need to wrap this up. Any closing thoughts on stuff?
Shout out to my homie Little Book. No, it's like
I appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks for sharing everything.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me. Like I said, I mean, if anybody has any questions for me or for anybody, Travis knows how to get a hold of me. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. He knows me and him have had many great talks. Absolutely. I try to help out with what I can. And I'm always on to say, hey, that's my preference. That's not yours. But, here's my I never want to push my stuff on.
I'm going to go share the Scoundrels group here with everybody on the Facebook event page.
Right. And, and as far as I'm concerned, it was wonderful to be back. I've missed you guys. Thank you for having me. If anybody has any questions for me, you can get to me through Travis. Feel free. The thing is this: whatever you have experienced before today, whether if you had a bad experience, go back, try it with the mindset of I am going to invest an hour to sit here and understand what the experience of smoking is. Yeah. Because it's completely.
It's not about smoking. It's about everything around it. By the way, Ian says he was talking about some generic cigars in Twitch here. He also says the Max isn't really that great, but it's a tradition for me and my buds to smoke Egos on New Year's during Stooges marathons. That's just nice. Great itself.
That's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
Absolutely. Okay, so next week's show is, oh my God, next week's show is Fapping Poetry Jam, which I guess
check out that banner.
Yeah, we're reading or writing poetry. I don't know what the hell we're doing. But
there once was a man from Nantucket.
Yeah, baby. So thanks for hanging out. If you were watching on YouTube, make sure you go below and subscribe to the channel for more of this stuff and whatever other else closing crap I got. Closing toast. Here's to the community that was expressed tonight in joining together over cigars.
Salud.
Okay, guys, have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye now.
Catch you later.
All right, guys.
Okay, close the outro music. And to everybody on Twitch, thanks for joining us, guys. And you guys on YouTube, like I said, click below for all the goodies. Have a good night.